Chicago on Friday. A sixth win in a row tonight would bring VCU closer to the top of the A10 next to George Mason and St. Louis. These Rams look to clash horns in the Rose Hill Gym tonight and extend streaks of their own while ending the other. This Battle of the Rams will come next, right here on WFUV Sports. Welcome into the Rose Hill Gym for Fordham men's basketball as the Fordham Rams take on the VCU Rams in a battle of the Rams. I'm Derek Beaulieu, joined by Kurt Sippel to my right on this chilly evening in the Bronx. But before we get into this game, before it starts, how are we feeling tonight?
Feeling great, Derek. I'm very excited today for the Battle of the Rams. Fordham coming into this game today on a 2-game win streak. VCU coming into this game with a 5-game win streak. So it's going to be a tough game for both sides. It's going to be a tough game for Fordham. This VCU team is one of the top teams in the entire A10. Picked to finish first in the A10 this season. We'll see what happens in tonight's game, but very excited to watch this game tonight.
Absolutely, Kurt. And before this game starts and before we get too much into it, we actually had the chance to talk to Coach Mike Magpayo, the head coach for the Fordham Rams. Let's take a listen to what he had to say. Derek Beaulieu, joined by head coach Mike Magpayo, coming off 2 straight wins and then getting some conference momentum like we just talked about. How do you keep that going against the top 3 team in the A10?
Yeah, I think there's just going to be momentum. You know, we get to play at home against one of the top teams in conference who have a great tradition. And I think our guys are really excited about it. I think, you know, the momentum comes from just the identity being formed and shaped of our team, and we know what we're putting out there. Number one, as far as players, some depth, but also just everybody kind of really seem to be settling into their respective roles.
VCU plays a very fast-paced, disruptive style of basketball. Coach, how would you go about trying to maybe slow down their offense a little bit, maybe not try to be as disruptive?
Yeah, well, their best offense is going to be their defense. You know, they play at the same pace really as George Washington, and St. Louis is probably is faster, but they're up there, right? The 3 of them are all top 50 teams, and we managed to control the tempo against St. Louis and George Washington. Kept it to the possessions that we like, but where they're different is their defensive aggression. They're just going to be up in us, pressuring us the whole time. Our guys are going to have to hold on to their guts early and deal with that early pressure because it's going to be feel a lot stronger early on in the game, and then it starts to relent a little bit if you can attack it offensively. So first, taking care of the ball is a big part of keeping them out of transition. But yeah, they got anybody can bring it up the floor basically, and they play a really fast, like popping offense. But then what it comes down to, if you can get back in transition, and we've done a pretty good job. We gave up 7 transition points against George Washington, which was excellent. A+ for us. 2 of them were off turnovers. If we can make it a half-court game, it's still tough because number 6, Hill, is a really special player, and then it comes down to just stopping number 6 and number 17, and they're always in action together. But then you got your hands full with a bunch of other guys that can make threes and drive it to the rim. So, but to give us a real shot, take care of the ball, and then get 5 guys behind the ball and protecting the paint in transition.
Today's the so-called Battle of the Rams, and so to speak, is Fordham is all-time 1-15 against VCU. How much would a win today mean for you, and then also specifically as a first-year head coach?
Yeah, I think it'd be an incredible win. I think every win is gold, man. I really do feel like that, and especially as we've gone through some of the early struggles of the conference, or even throughout the year as we're kind of it's been a, I don't want to say roller coaster, but you're just always dealing with adversity, and you always have to respond. So every win, that LaSalle win was gold, right? Because then it gave us the same momentum going into George Washington and giving the guys a little more confidence and belief. And then getting the George Washington win, that was humongous. That's gold. And now you're going into this game with a little more confidence and belief. So the guys are in a good place. I like the way they've been working. You start to see routines form and shape over time, and I think we all have more of a comfort level with each other, the team, the coaching staff, and I'm excited to see what the Fordham Rams have out there tonight.
Coach, one quick last one.
Sure.
VCU, one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country.
Yeah.
How you go about defending without getting them to the stripe so often?
It's hard, like we kind of have it's a lot of times we protect the paint, but this is like protect the rim at all costs. You know what? We're pretty good at not fouling. We're top 15 in the country at not fouling, but they are excellent. Like number 17 does a really good job of just making it a physical contest down around the rim. He's flailing and he's very aggressive in that way. And then just their athleticism makes it like that. So, and they're a great free throw percentage shooting team. So yes, I'm not talking about that key, hoping that stands out, because I do want us to play with a certain level of aggression in this game, and making sure that we're taking the fight to them, and then our discipline as far as not fouling kind of hopefully shows up in this game, and we've been pretty good all year.
Derek Beaulieu and Kurt Sippel talking to Coach Mike Pyle, and we'll have Fordham men's basketball here on WFUV Sports. Welcome back into the Rose Hill Gym. Derek Beaulieu once again joined by Kurt Sippel, and a lot of good stuff from Coach Mike Pyle. A lot of praise for his guys, but also a lot of praise for the VCU guys. And we're going to get this game started in just a little bit, but I believe we have a little bit of time to talk, and we noticed one big thing about this VCU roster. A guy on that team, Terrence Hill Jr., a lot of praise from Coach Mike Pyle, and he normally does not start on this roster, but today is going to be his first start of this season, and that's a big move from VCU.
Terrence Hill Jr. last game, 24 points off the bench, and probably the biggest reason why they were able to take down Loyola Chicago. So a very good job by VCU, maybe getting that scout, seeing that Terrence Hill Jr. matches up well with the Fordham Rams. So we'll see how that happens today in today's game.
And we're going to take a break here as we listen to, in the Rose Hill Gym, a live performance of Lift Every Voice and Sing as well as the national anthem here in the Bronx.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Hello everyone, I'm Trey Rodriguez, calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. We're live every Saturday on YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later at night on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We cover the latest news in the sports world with our wide range of beat reporters, as well as exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes. We'll see you next Saturday on One on One.
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
And we welcome you back into the Rose Hill Gym as the national anthem just finished up. And we have Fordham men's basketball in just a couple minutes as the starting lineups get announced. And Kurt, we have a couple minutes just to chat before this game officially gets started. And we had a lot of information from Coach Mike Magpayo and a lot of information going into this game as both of these teams, Fordham with a 2-game win streak, VCU with a 5-game win streak of their own. Both of these teams playing good basketball. They're hot at this moment. And there's just a lot of momentum for each side coming into this game. And it seems like kind of a coin toss coming into it.
It's going to be a very tough game for Fordham. The brand of defense that this VCU team plays is one that gives Fordham a lot of struggle, Derek, and that is they swarm a lot of the time. And Fordham really has struggled this season with those more athletic wings on the edges. And what's going to be a really big game for Fordham is trying to get Akira Jacobs involved. Someone that Coach Mike Magpayo earlier in the season called Fordham's X Factor. And that is because Akira Jacobs is one of the most consistent three-point shooters on this Fordham basketball team, and that is someone that can spread the floor a lot more for Fordham so far. So Akira Jacobs hitting those three-point shots will keep Fordham into this game and maybe scramble that VCU offense, scramble that VCU defense a little bit more, open those lanes for someone like Day Reeves to go to the rim and finish like they always try to do for Day, one of the A-10 leading scorers.
Absolutely. Abbas Bodija and Jack Whitbourne also extremely highlighted by Coach Mac Magpayo. Their kind of impact on this team is not being fallen short. He highlighted especially Jack Whitbourne and his kind of coming back and being that big body that Fordham really needs in the paint, both offensively and defensively. Rebounding has been especially prominent in this Fordham, just offense and defense on both sides of the ball. Those offensive rebounds, those second chance points have always been a highlight of this Fordham program, and I think they'll continue to do that against this VCU team that rebounding really isn't their specialty. They like to play, they like to steal the ball, they like to keep the ball basically away from the paint if they can keep that full court press.
Well, the one thing is Fordham is first in the league in offensive rebounds in the A-10. One thing that they really haven't been able to do, though, Derek, when they get those offensive rebounds is put them back at the hoop. One thing that is so important for Fordham, 9% of their points come from those putback conversions. The issue, 9% of their points, but the issue is they only make about 52% of those shots. If that number was up to maybe 60%, maybe 65%, maybe I'm dragging it a little bit with 70%, but if they were up that high in those putback conversions, this whole entire game, this entire season can look different for Fordham because they have such a good length and size, this Fordham Rams team. They can really out-compete and out-muscle a lot of these other teams in the A-10. The difference is today for VCU, they also match up pretty well in that size department. So it's going to be that Fordham zone trying to grab those rebounds, but you got to make sure you finish. You got to make sure you finish at the rim because this VCU team will punish you if you give them extra opportunities.
Finishing is the key to this Fordham offense, unlocking this Fordham offense. You can get as many second chances as you want, but if you can't finish that shot, you're not going to be able to succeed, especially against a strong team like VCU, third in the A-10, looking to keep climbing. Like I said, a 5-game win streak for them. Fordham, 3 A-10 wins in their 9 games in conference, 2 of them their last 2 games, looking for a third in a row. And we were talking to Coach Mike Magpayo, and these 3-game win streaks have been hard to come by in this Fordham program. I believe this would be, if they do win tonight, would be their 9th in their history, while VCU on the other side of the ball has had plenty of longer win streaks. But it seems like a very, I want to say, a black and white battle as Fordham is in their white and VCU's in their black. That might have been a little corny, Kurt, but I'll take any chance I can joke. I'm not
used to seeing the VCU black uniforms. I'm liking the VCU Rams trim in the black. Fordham has a very similar one. I really like those too. I'm used to seeing that black and yellow that VCU would normally wear. This is a very big game, Derek, for the Battle of the Rams. VCU has won 15 and Fordham has only won 1, so this would be a big deal.
As Fordham gets the ball to start, Christian Henry at half court, as they'll try and start this game clean. That's Day Reeves. And now over to our main guy, Kirleo, but that's immediately stolen by VCU. And that's a big dunk to start this game. Barry Evans with a strong start to this game. 2-0 VCU already.
Barry Evans gets the crowd going, the VCU contingent going in this gym. That is not something that you want to start with. Fordham has to take care of this ball because VCU will continue to try to steal it away.
Day Reeves at the top of the key, getting surrounded by this athletic and quick
VCU offense or defense, Christian Henry now driving on the left wing. He's getting stopped up in the paint, blocked his shot. VCU now in transition the other way, kind of bounding and fumbling their way. There's a layup and a foul. Brandon Jennings just missed the and one, but he does get the foul, and he's going to the line.
Right there, Derek, something that you see from Fordham a lot this season, something I've talked about with a lot of the people that are fans of Fordham men's basketball, is starting super late in the shot clock. Fordham there, Christian Henry got started with 9 seconds left driving into the paint. VCU was able to just sit there and get ready and block the shot immediately. Fordham has to figure out a way to start the offense a little sooner. Akira Jacobs falling at the other side of the court, leaving a mismatch for Barry Evans with the Day Reeves, the small guard, on him, immediately able to finish and get the foul.
Brandon Jennings with his second free throw, and he makes that one. A big key to this VCU offense is getting to the line and also making those shots, as they also continue to have this full court press. Akira Jacobs stuck in the Fordham side of the court, getting surrounded by two guys, has to go to Christian Henry. They're still in the paint on the own side of their court, and they just get to the other side of the court. 20 seconds on the shot clock. We're starting late on the shot clock once again. Christian Henry on the Fordham logo. Still haven't made it much past half court. 10 seconds left on this shot clock. He's trying to drive, has kept possession this whole time, over to Jack Whitbourne in the paint, right below the rim. His layup is good. First Fordham points of this game, 4-2 with 18:34 left in this game.
If I saw it properly, Jadrian was grabbing on his Fordham defender there, his jersey, so that should have been a foul called on the other side of the court. Great finish there for Christian Henry to get Fordham on the board and get the Fordham up and in.
Terrence Hill, a prolific shooter, misses short. As we talked about him earlier, now it's Christian Henry in transition at the top of the key. Fordham trying to start earlier, but now Christian Henry forced back. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. He's on the right wing. He's driving into the paint. His layup is knocked away. Didn't quite get off any shot. Now Terrence Hill Jr. with his reverse that fakes it away. Over to Brandon Jennings. His three is just off rim. Rika Schulte with the rebound.
Very good play by VCU there, penetrating, getting the Fordham defense into the paint and then knocking back. That's a rare shot for VCU to miss.
Rika Schulte now drives into the paint. His layup is good. Clean from Schulte. Ties this game. 17:42 left in this first half.
Derek, those were two good layup moves by Fordham, trying to stay in this game. They're trying to play the style of basketball they know best, and that's in the paint. This Rose Hill gym is getting loud with the defensive calls.
A lot of crowd here, a lot of people here. Terrence Hill Jr. over to Evans on the right corner. His three is good. Splash for VCU as he waves the crowd away. 7-4 VCU with 17:15 left.
Was not expecting to see the Barry Evans splash away effect there.
Jack Whitbourne blocked his layup attempt. VCU again in transition, but stolen away. That's Day Reeves with the steal. He's now on the left wing. He's driving into the paint. His short two is good. Day clean. Makes this a 6-7 game, 16:50 left in the half.
That was nasty by Day Reeves, going coast to coast and then finishing at the rim over his taller defender. Great moves by Day Reeves.
Barry Evans passed it away to Djokovic, and his short two is good. Right over Jack Whitbourne, one-arm hook shot.
Something you would like to see a little bit more. Jack Whitbourne putting his arms up. I know that this VCU team is one of the top teams in the country at getting those foul calls, but you got to challenge the shot just a little bit more.
Coach Mike Magpio hit on that as well. Jack Whitbourne ending games with one foul, telling him just foul some guys, get some pressure on. Rika Schulte over to Jack Whitbourne right in the paint on the left side. He's trying to drive, but it pushes out to Day Reeves. His three just off rim, bounces up. It's VCU with the rebound. It's Djokovic coming down. Terrence Hill Jr. now over to the left wing, over to the left corner. Barry Evans left wing once again for Tracy. His three is short. Day Reeves with the rebound.
Fordham doing a good job forcing those three balls from VCU. Not the best shot that they can get.
Akira Jacobs back to Day. 15:45 left in this half. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Day Reeves forced back to Akira Jacobs. His three is just short. Jennings with the rebound for VCU.
Need Akira Jacobs to knock down those good looks for this Fordham offense.
Djokovic looks to his layup, and it's good. He drives right through Jack Whitbourne for his easy two.
That's due to the VCU pace, Derek. We talked about this so much, how fast they play basketball. VCU running back on that offense, and Fordham just not able to get set on their defense.
Akira Jacobs on the left wing, guarded by his man, not able to do much. He's kind of trapped. Now it's Rika Schulte, top of the key, fakes his pass to Henry. Now he's driving on the right wing. He's in the paint. His short two bounces off rim, not good. Barry Evans with the rebound.
Fordham now on a scoreless streak for 1 minute and 34 seconds.
Tracy driving. He's stuck in the middle on Jack Whitborn. He's forced to pass back to Brandon Jennings, top of the key on the Fordham logo. Goes to the right wing, guarded by Henry. It's over to Terrence Hill Jr., the prolific shooter we've talked quite a bit about. That's knocked out by Jack Whitborn, but Terrence Hill gets it back, goes to the left wing for Jennings. He's driving on Christian Henry. His short two just off. Akira Jacobs with the rebound. 14:38 left in this half.
Great hands by Day Reeves and Jack Whitborn, not allowing VCU to get set and causing them to have a reset.
Christian Henry driving, and there's some whistles there.
Offensive foul.
I believe a charge there. A charge on Christian Henry, I believe. Offensive foul. The media timeout is called. 14:30 left in this first half. 11-6, the VCU Rams over the Fordham Rams. And I believe we'll take a break here in the Rose Hill Gym, and we'll be right back as Fordham men's basketball is here on WFUV Sports.
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
Welcome back into the Rose Hill Gym in the Bronx on this chilly, snowy, but really it's just ice at this point. Evening, Derek Beaulieu joined by Kurt Sippel once again as we're chilling here in the Bronx. 11-6 with 14:30 left on this half. VCU Rams lead the Fordham Rams. And we saw a lot of this fast-paced offense from VCU. Fordham, when it was their turn with the ball, much slower, starting on the shot clock a lot later than Fordham did. But VCU getting the ball, immediately sprinting down the court, just going for a layup or taking a three. Very fast-paced and very quick, which is exactly what we expected from this VCU offense.
This VCU team being one of the teams that is so fast, 6 of their 11 points right now in fast break points for VCU. Fordham right now on fast break only has 2 points out of their 6. But the other thing for Fordham is that their offense is mainly into the paint, and I felt like their defense in that last half of play that we got to see was a lot more improved than what we saw in maybe that first few minutes of play. I think Fordham has settled down just a little bit more to that pace, but Fordham really needs to do a little bit more than just paint scoring. Listen, this VCU team defense is going to be overwhelming and swarming, so it's going to take a lot to try to figure out a way to get into that paint, which Fordham has, but you got to figure out a way to get on the perimeter and maybe get those middies up too, to get some of those more high percentage shots, because the paint is not going to be there forever. VCU is going to start smartening up, and they're going to start changing their game plan very fast like they did against Loyola Chicago.
And the problem we've seen is this VCU team already with 3 blocks on this Fordham offense. Even in the paint, Fordham really not able to get over these taller defenders as this play resumes here in this first half of Fordham men's basketball. VCU with the ball right on the Fordham logo. They're moving fast already as they're going back. The VCU offense with Ward at the center, Djokovic drills a 3, but after a whistle, and it'll be Fordham ball.
That kind of turnover right there is how you get into the heads of VCU a little bit more. Make them upset with the mistakes that they're making against Fordham, and try to make sure that they are not getting in motion, getting in that fast-paced play, because they're making those mistakes and thinking too much about what they're doing.
Abbas Bodija and Roa Kaur now in this game for Fordham, as Day Reeves now driving into the paint, but that gets, I believe that might be a travel call on Day, or some kind
That's going to be a foul call for Day Reeves, so Day will get Fordham will get the ball at the line. Day with some good heads-up basketball, knew he wasn't going to finish at the rim there, so trying to get the foul call.
And he did. Now Christian Henry, left wing, kind of driving But now back to Day on the Fordham logo. Christian Henry left wing three, just short, and that'll go out of bounds. VCU ball.
I'm not sure if that was the greatest shot that Fordham could have taken, that Christian Henry three. I think there could have been maybe a few more passes to go. But you could see with this VCU team just how much faster pace they play on the other side of the ball. They're just getting ready and going.
Ward and Noel now in this game for VCU, as that's a Bell short two in the paint, as he's also now in this game for VCU. A lot of substitutions for them. That'll increase their lead to 7, 13-6 with 13:20 left in this game.
Rika Schulte should have had his hands up there. Bell just had that full floater over Schulte without any real defense hindering him.
Day Reeves over to the right wing, now into the paint. A nice backwards pass for Rika Schulte, but Boss Bodija not able to finish at the rim. Now it's Djokovic driving and makes a dude fall.
That was a big play right there for Fordham. That charge right there for Fordham amps up the bench, amps up the players on the court. Great heads-up play by the freshman Roar Core from Australia. Fordham has been scoreless for the last 4 minutes, Derek. They need to score on this possession, get the crowd back into it. You need the crowd back into it. Right now, there's a pretty large VCU contingent here, so you would rather not the VCU fans drown out the Fordham fans.
Lazar Djokovic, 6'11", 235. Roar Core just able to take all that pressure off of him and get the charge call, as Day Reeves now with the possession at the Fordham logo. Louis Lesmond now in this game for Fordham, as Day Reeves just drives right through this VCU defense for an easy two. A nice layup and a nice move for Day. Now getting double teamed as he's forced to throw that back to Brandon Jennings. Now his right wing three is good. A three for VCU extends their lead to 8, 16-8 with 12:20 left in this half.
VCU on a 9-2 run right now, and Brandon Jennings only hit one of his 4 3-point shots. Do not want him to get hot.
Louis Lesmond, his left wing three, just off rim. It's knocked up a couple times by a couple different guys, and I think they'll say it went off of Jack Whitburn as he knocked that up and almost went back in on his tip. It was Rika Schulte.
Fordham trying with those strong rebounds, trying to take advantage of their length under the basket. And for Brandon Jennings, he only had 1 of 4 against Loyola Chicago, to correct myself.
And I was wrong. That was an inbound from Day Reeves as Boss Bodija just drives right through Bell of VCU and gets the easy layup. As that ball's knocked away, but still able to kept in possession by Barry Evans. Back to Noel on the right wing. Back to Evans again on the right corner. Pass into the paint, but knocked away by Bell. Not able to pick up the pass, and he kind of kicked it out of bounds.
Yet again, Derek, that's one of those mistakes where you go on that 9-2 run if you're VCU, but you had that travel call earlier in the game. Then you also had that kick out there for VCU. You're giving Fordham these opportunities. They're cut the game back to a 6-point lead. So Fordham right now needing to take their time and make sure that they can get back into this game, because VCU is getting in their own mind right now with these mistakes.
Absolutely. 16-10 VCU over Fordham with 11:47 left in this first half. And with this media timeout, we're going to go back to the Rose Hill studio with Travis Hayden for a one-on-one update. Take it away, Travis.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The NBA trade deadline is this Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and players are getting shopped around left and right today, starting with the Memphis Grizzlies, who just had a massive 8-player trade with the Utah Jazz, with the major story being that the former NBA Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s time in Memphis has come to an end, and he will have a brand new team in the Jazz. The Chicago Bulls have decided to part ways with their franchise cornerstone, Nikola Vucevic, as he is being traded to the Boston Celtics in exchange for Anthony Simmons and a second-round pick. The Bulls aren't done making moves, however, as they have were also involved in a massive 3-team trade with the Timberwolves and Pistons. The Bulls will be receiving Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley. The Pistons are receiving Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric, and a 2026 first, while the Timberwolves freed up cap space. And finally, for the 4th time this decade, James Harden has requested a trade away from the Los Angeles Clippers. and it looks like his wish has been granted, as James Harden is expected to add another jersey to his collection, as he is about to be a part of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Darius Garland will be moving out west to LA. I'm Travis Hayden, and this has been the one-on-one scoreboard update, now sending it back to Kurt Sippel and Derek Beaulieu.
Welcome back here into the Rose Hill Gym as the VCU Rams lead the Fordham Rams 16-10. We have 11:47 left in this first half of Fordham men's basketball on WFUV. As we listen into Travis Hayden and him talking about the NBA, but we'll focus more on this college game that we've got right in front of us. An exciting game so far, very fast-paced with this VCU offense. They seem to be leading the pace as Fordham attempts to try and keep their own pace, but it doesn't seem to be working with this VCU offense. And just a lot of fast-paced basketball so far, Kurt.
Definitely. VCU has been dictating the pace for these Fordham Rams. That's not the way Fordham likes to play. Listen, they're trying to get more up-tempo. The last two games, they were a little bit more up-tempo. The way Fordham plays is a more relaxed, dribble it up the court and try to find the best possible way. That's when Christian Henry has the ball and he's looking to pass it out to somebody. But something that we don't normally see from Fordham. Right now, getting out-rebounded, 8-5 from VCU. As well, the block department. VCU is one of the worst teams in the A10 in blocks, and 4 blocks on today's game for VCU.
A quick Louis Lesmond left corner three is just long as that's bounded up a couple times, and that'll get grabbed by Jennings as he moves in transition down the court, trying to get on Day Reeves. An almost block by Rika Schulte, but the layup is missed, but then immediately stolen back as VCU, their shot gets blocked. Aurora Core, Rika Schulte team up, gets that sent out of bounds. Michael Bell not able to do anything.
Yet again, these are all momentum plays. Getting those 2 blocks gets the bench involved, gets the crowd involved, get everyone excited. You don't have to score to get the crowd involved. Doing these kinds of things makes everyone more involved.
That inbound to Nowell on the left corner. He'll just go back. And then over to Evans on the right wing. He just takes his 3, and it's just short. Day Reeves gets that rebound. Kurt, like you said, slowly moving up the court, just dribbling it down to Abbas Bodija at the top of the key. Back over to Day, kind of in between the right wing and the top of the key. Abbas Bodija gets free from his man. He's on the right wing, and his pass over to either Rika Schulte or Aurora Core, not sure which one, gets slapped away, and that goes out of bounds. It'll remain Fordham ball.
But yet again, Derek, look at the shot clock when that pass happened. It's at 11 seconds. You need to figure out a time right now where you are going to not boil down the shot clock this much. He only got down the court at 20 seconds, Day Reeves. So you got to figure out a time because now they're rushing with 5 seconds left.
5 seconds on the shot clock, like you said, Kurt. 3 seconds for Day Reeves. 2 seconds. He's in the paint. He takes a short 2, and it's good. Nothing but net for Day. Right as the shot clock expires, it's 16-12 with 10:40 left in this half.
Maybe Day likes to be under the clock because that was some cold basketball by Day right there.
That's Evans driving into the paint. He's blocked by 2 guys, but goes right over, and the ball bounces 4 times on the rim, but goes in right over Rika Schulte. 18-12.
But I like what you're seeing from Rika Schulte because he put his hands up on that play and made it more difficult for VCU to finish at the rim. That is a big play by Rika's.
10-14 left in this half as Fordham continues. Now it's 15 seconds on the shot clock. They like taking their time. Rika Schulte in the paint. He takes his short 2, and it's good. Rika Schulte with the 2. Brandon Jennings immediately in transition, already on the other side of the court. This VCU team, we've said it so many times, but they play fast. Djokovic in the paint, right on the A10 logo. He's driving. He takes his short 2, and it goes.
Djokovic right there seeing Rika Schulte and saying, I can probably out-dribble you here, and then turning and dribbling. And VCU now pushing turning up the heat a little bit more on Fordham because Fordham's getting down just a little bit more.
Day Reeves is driving. He takes a weird floater, and the rebound by Abbas Bodija. He powers his way over a dude, gets another, and it swirls around the rim. Now it's Rika Schulte fighting on the ground. Barry Evans for VCU gets the rebound. Over to the left wing, a 3 for VCU is just short. Rika Schulte with the rebound. A lot of fighting from this Fordham team, but not much scoring other than in the paint right under the rim. It's Day now on the Fordham logo. over to Rika Schulte, back to Dede. Nice pass, but over to Ruakor in the corner. Three is just off. Abbas Bodaja just misses the rebound. Tracy unable to get the pass that was slapped away by a Fordham defender, and that'll go out of bounds off VCU.
That was a great play right there by Fordham to break up the fast break. But yet again, for Fordham, you've got to make that three-point shot that is wide open in the corner. Statistically, the easiest three-point shot in the entire game, Derek, but you got to make that shot. You got to get points on the board. Yet again, VCU might not be scoring, but eventually they'll start scoring. This is not such a normal kind of game for VCU, keeping it low for right now. VCU will eventually start scoring, so you got to figure out a way to get this going.
Christian Henry back in this game for Fordham, and as you noted, 0 for 6. The Fordham Rams are from 3. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Christian Henry on the right wing. He starts driving on Tracy, who backs up. Christian Henry forced to pass Jack Whitbourne right under the rim. His short two is not good. Barry Evans with the rebound quickly in transitions. Tracy, he has 1 man, 2 men to beat, and he gets fouled on the layup.
Right there, Ruakor was trying to have that heads-up wait for the jump. If we see in the replay in the gym right now, Ruakor just did not wait enough to get that jump on Tracy, and he fouled him at the line, and giving VCU more attempts at the line today. But right there, Fordham's defense right now, Derek, has looked very good in this game.
It looks very, very good, but the problem is this offense, as we said, 0 for 6 from 3. They're shooting 33% overall as a rare missed free throw from VCU. Statistically very good from the free throw line.
Tracy is a 70% free throw shooter. Likely to think that this kind of packed Rose Hill gym might play a part in how loud it gets in here. It's hard to play in here when there's a big Fordham contingent. Both of these teams are scoreless in the last minute and 30 seconds, so VCU is trying to break that streak with this free throw as Tracy hits it.
21-14 VCU, 8:17 left in this first half. A low-scoring affair as both defenses playing well. That's Marcus Green now in the game for Fordham as Christian Henry has the ball and just passes half court after 6 seconds on the shot clock had already gone. That's Akira Jacobs back in this game at the top of the key. Christian Henry now left wing. He's over on the top of the key, surrounded by 2 guys driving into the paint. He's fouled on the shot.
Christian Henry there was hunting for that foul call. You could see that he knew he could not find the good pass that he wanted on the line. So he was dribbling into the VCU defender, and the VCU defender bit and got him the foul shot. So that's a good heads-up play right there for Henry. Fordham at the line, maybe break their scoreless streak a little bit. Got to break the gap just a little bit more for Fordham.
Fordham scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 7 seconds as there's 7 minutes and 59 seconds left in this first half and a media timeout here in the Rose Hill Gym. So we're going to send it back to the studio, not for a one-on-one update, just for a little break. And Fordham men's basketball is on WFUV Sports.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace McCarran and I'm one of your 2025-26 New York Islanders beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow me on X at GraceMcCarran_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content from the island all season long. From the development of first overall pick Matthew Schaefer to incredible saves by Ilya Sorokin, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Isles look towards the postseason. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
Welcome back into the Rose Hill Gym as the VCU Rams still leading in this one 21-14 with 7:59 left in this first half of Fordham men's basketball here in the Bronx. As again, a lot of fast-paced basketball. I'm sure these guys getting tired. I myself needed a sip of water there after a little bit. I'm sure they do as well.
I was just about to say, Derek, I'm not sure we can compare it to what's going on the court right now, but I will say, I'm getting a little out of breath trying to get in a little bit faster just so we don't talk over the play on the court right now, because this is some really high-paced basketball, because once VCU gets it on the baseline, they pick up and go. That's something that you don't see a lot of teams doing. I know in higher level college basketball, you see a lot of teams pick up and run and go because the pace is so much faster at this level. A10 might not always be like that, but VCU, man, they're playing with such a high intensity, high pace basketball, and it makes sense why they score so many points. Today actually is an anomaly for this VCU team. They average about 84 points this season. That's their first time averaging above 80 points since 1975.
Wow.
The last time, 1975, maybe it wasn't 1975, 1972, Fordham was in the NIT. So back then, different kind of landscape for college basketball. VCU getting back up to their high-scoring ways. The VCU, there's a reason why they were picked so highly in the A10 polls. You can see how well they are built. Guys from all over top programs that might not have gotten a lot of run at places like UConn or places like Oregon, but they get run here. And when you get recruited by those kinds of teams, Derek, you have the talent to play at those places. It just depends because there's so much talent there. So VCU allowing for a lot of these other guys to prosper here.
Absolutely, Kurt. In this packed Rose Hill gym, a lot of defense in this game. As Christian Henry now, after a long break, will finally take his 2 free throws from his foul. But this gym is packed. It's hot in here. There's a lot of people around us. And Christian Henry will take his 2 free throws now. So he nails that first one.
Christian Henry, a 56% free throw shooter on the season so far. Last game hitting both of his free throws against GW.
So he'll take his second one and nail that one as well. 21-16 now is the VCU lead. About 8 minutes left in this half. Fordham with the full court press, keeping VCU on their side of the court for longer than about half a second, as now a right corner 3 is just short, and then a dunk from Brandon Jennings. Midair grabs the rebound and slams it back down.
What a play by Brandon Jennings there. Really just going up at the rim and finishing yet again when he saw the opportunity that Fordham wasn't grabbing the board fast enough.
Another mistake from Fordham. Christian Henry looking at his coach for advice as he yells from the sidelines. Akira Jacob now at the top of the key. It's Jack Whitbourne now, surrounded by multiple people. Christian Henry now driving into the paint. And no look pass to the corner. The 3 is long. Terrence Hill Jr. gets that rebound. Brandon Jennings sprinting down the court. He gets the pass. He's driving into the paint. Back out to Terrence Hill Jr. right on the right wing. Back to Brandon Jennings in the paint. Over to the left wing. Fake a 3. Drive. Attempt a dunk and blocked. Laura Course stands there and prevents the dunk from Jadrian Tracy.
Warcore there yet again. Second time today putting his arms up in the face of danger against this VCU team. Tracy there trying to throw it down from a distance. Maybe not a dunk, but trying a big power play there. He doesn't look wincing at the line right now. But yet again, more free throws for VCU. They might not have been scoring at field goal, but now they've just gotten 2 free points at the free throw, now 3, a potential 4 free points at the free throw line to bring their lead back up.
VCU averaging 19.5 free throws made per game, a part of their 84 points that they average a game. So it's a big part of their offense that they rely on, playing fast and getting those fouls, as Tracy will nail his second free throw. 25-16 VCU, 7 minutes left in this first half. Louis Lesmond gets the inbound, and again, this full court press from VCU preventing Fordham from getting comfortable and getting on their side of the court quickly. 22 seconds on the shot clock. That's Christian Henry now at the Fordham R, the Fordham logo. A lot of movement from everyone as Christian Henry starts to drive, passes for Akira Jacobs in the corner, who drives, fakes a behind-the-back pass. It doesn't do it. Marcus Green now on the left wing, looking for anyone. Akira Jacobs, a long 3, no good. Marcus Green knocks it away and goes to Christian Henry for the rebound. Akira Jacobs now driving, his layup just short, and it's knocked a couple times, rebounded by Jack Whitbourne, who gets it knocked away. Jack Whitbourne got that rebound like 3 or 4 times, knocked it up a couple times.
I was going to say, Derek, if Fordham did not get a foul call on there, that was going to be quite ridiculous because they got hit back and forth getting those foul shots, getting that rebound. And that's that extra effort for Fordham now with a fresh 20-second shot clock and a chance to pass out and maybe run a play here instead of getting under the basket and trying to tip it in.
The inbound to Akira Jacobs, loses the ball for a second but gets it back and then passes it straight back to Christian Henry. 15 seconds on the shot clock now. A very long possession for the Fordham Rams, about a minute so far. Christian Henry makes a guy fall. Christian Henry misses his long two.
Looked like there Christian Henry was falling himself and felt like he had the need to throw up that shot.
Tracy tries to make a quick pass in to Terrence Hill Jr., but knocked away by Marcus Green, and that'll go out of bounds.
Fordham right now only shooting 26% from the field and a donut from the three-point line, 0 of 8, while VCU right now 50% from the field and 28% from three. This VCU team's higher-powered offense is on full display.
Not nearly as many shot attempts, VCU. They only have 18 to Fordham's 26, but making them count. As there's Terrence Hill Jr. going into the paint. His pass is grabbed by Marcus Green. Not a very good pass over to Brandon Jennings. Day-Day Reeves now back in this game in the paint. Passes back to Akira Jacobs, then back to Day-Day. He's on the left corner into Jack Whitborn, into the paint, driving, working on his man. He turns around, takes the short two, and it bounces a couple times. It doesn't go.
Derek, on that last play, I was just mouthing the word run because Fordham had the chance to run to the basket.
Terrence Hill Jr. goes under the bucket, then passes out to Jennings, then back into VCU. That layup is good by Ward. And Fordham is forced to take a timeout here.
That's after VCU goes up by over 11 points here in this first half. Coach Mac Magpayo has seen enough from this Fordham team just because VCU is just taking advantage of the disruption that they supply with the running fast. Right there on that last play for Fordham when they got the ball back from VCU, Day-Day Reeves should have ran up the court and tried to start the offense. He slowed up in the half court. And once you slowed up in the half court, you allowed VCU to get set on defense. And once you did that, it was all trouble downhill from there. If you're Fordham, you need to start the offense so much quicker. And you're going to harp on this all game because until it starts happening, we're going to see VCU take advantage. And we're seeing that right now because VCU has gone on a 6-0 run when Fordham has had the opportunity to go to the basket for a higher percentage, easier shot.
Fordham scoreless in the past 2 minutes and 40 seconds. In fact, of their last 12 field goal attempts, they've made one. They're 1 for 12 in their past 12. 0 for 8 from 3 in the whole game. Shooting has been a problem, 26% total. A screen there from Akira Jacobs allows Christian Henry to get some space. 18 seconds on the shot clock. 5 minutes left in this first half. Christian Henry still with the ball, goes to Day-Day, who's right at the paint, and he shoots a long two. Doesn't quite go in. And a foul. Rikus Schulte falls to the ground and gets a foul call.
Right there, Derek, what we saw was the Day-Day Reeves switch right there because Hill was on Day-Day, and then it switches to the much taller Mitchell, 6'11", on Day-Day Reeves, who's only 6 feet tall, so an 11-inch difference.
Day-Day Reeves gets the inbound. Louis Lesmond, top of the key, gets the ball over to Christian Henry on the left wing. Gets a screen from Schulte. Into Schulte for a short two, but knocked away. VCU defense playing extremely well. Evans spinning. Pass out to Ward. The three. It's good. Nothing but net for VCU. 30-16 now.
Now it's a 9-0 run for VCU. And things are starting to get out of hand if you're Fordham. You got to stop this VCU train quickly.
Day-Day Reeves driving into the paint. His layup is not good as he falls to the ground. VCU now in transition. They've got 5 on 4. Ward driving, has to pass back, and it's grabbed by Christian Henry. Day-Day Reeves in transition, has one man to beat and beats him. The layup is good.
My point right there, Derek, Christian Henry passing it out to Day-Day Reeves, seeing him going, and Day-Day not stopping to wait for the offense to catch up. He just goes to the hoop and puts it up. That gets the gym alive.
Brandon Jennings into Evans. The three for VCU is long from Mitchell. As it bounces off the rim and goes over the backboard as this will go to another media timeout. 30-18 is the lead for the VCU Rams over the Fordham Rams with 3:50 left in this half. And just a disastrous 9-2 run over the last 4 minutes for VCU if you're Fordham.
It is quite the disastrous run if you are Fordham. And Fordham needs to start hitting their shots. 1 of 13 in their last attempts from the field. And 0 of 8 from 3. Something's got to change here, Derek. Defensive plays are great, but as soon as you can start scoring a little more, you can be right back in this game.
Absolutely, Kurt. And we're actually going to go back to the Rose Hill studio for another one-on-one update with Travis Hayden. Take it away.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
UFC 325 took place this Saturday live from Australia, and it was a good one. Quillian Salkid have continued his rise in the lightweight division. Salkid flipped Jamie Malarkey off his feet with a body lock trip and then finished the fight with a neck crank in the first round. The Fighting Nerds prospect Mauricio Ruffy became the first man to finish Rafael Fiziev in the UFC, securing a second-round knockout, and with this performance, Ruffy might be getting something even bigger than a title shot. And now there is talks that Ruffy could be fighting a returning Conor McGregor, but only time will tell on that one. Benoit St. Denis solidified himself in the lightweight title picture with a second-round TKO against Dan Hooker. Benoit St. Denis is now on a 4-fight win streak after an abysmal 2024. And finally, Alexander the Great Volkanovski retained his UFC featherweight championship on home soil against Diego Lopes in the main event. Volkanovski is currently the oldest person to hold the UFC featherweight championship at age 37, but it looks like no one at featherweight is going to be able to take the strap off of him. I'm Travis Hayden, and this has been the one-on-one scoreboard update. Now sending it back to Kurt and Derek.
Welcome back into the Rose Hill Gym, and thank you so much, Travis. Derek Beaulieu joined by Kurt Sippel once again, as this Fordham offense, known for, well, not necessarily known for their slower pace, this VCU offense known for their higher pace, but Fordham trying to play at their own pace, trying to play at a lower pace, and it just really has not been working, Kurt.
It really has not been working for Fordham because this VCU team is so disruptive. They will try to steal the ball from you at any point, and that's such the big thing that VCU has done all year. 4th in the A-10 this year in steals, but that's how they play defense. They'll play 4 up with one person down low to try to make sure they're disrupting you the entire time, to try to disrupt those passes that Fordham's trying to make in the corner or trying to get down low, to try to knock it away and run down the court, because that's their offense. Their offense is run. Their offense starts on a steal. Their offense doesn't really start from the baseline. Their offense starts with trying to steal the ball away. And right now, with 3 steals on today's game, might not look like a lot, but it's still those slap-aways, those times where Fordham is struggling in this part of the press when they're dialing up that pressure to keep Fordham out of this game. Those are the times where VCU is trying to profit off of the amount of pace and the high cardio that they have on the season.
Day-Day Reeves, top of the key, 16 seconds left on the shot clock for Fordham. 3:34 left in this half. Over to Christian Henry, he drives into the paint. His layup is not good. He falls, and now Brandon Jennings in transition, 5-on-4. He's beating on Day-Day. Now over to Brandon Evans on the right wing, into Ward, back to Evans. Now back out to Terrence Hill Jr. As that ball gets knocked away a couple times, but not able to actually get possession is Christian Henry, and he's called for a foul.
Right there, we saw Hill. We're going to see Coach Mike Magpie. It looks like he's challenging this play.
It did happen directly in front of him.
He's talking to the referee right now, but it looked like to me was that Barry Evans was hooking on to Christian Henry and then brought him down, shifted his weight down to there to get the foul call. I'm not sure if that's what Coach Mike Magpie saw and that's what he was trying to tell the referee, but we're not playing football here, Derek. This is a basketball game. That's not something that you would normally see as a basketball play.
Playing basketball on the basketball court. Excellent analysis as always, Kurt. We have Terrence Hill now on the right wing. Over to Mitchell. Back out to Ward as he's driving, and an off-ball foul. Zakira Jacobs falls on the Fordham logo, and he's kind of hobbling.
It's a hard hit by Akira Jacobs. Seems like he's hobbling around just a little bit. Seems like he stays in this game for Fordham. It looks like he might. Akira is holding the back of his leg right now. of his left knee. Hopefully he's all right. Akira Jacobs is such a big part of this Fordham offense. Cannot really afford to lose him.
You said he was an X factor, and he absolutely is. If this Fordham offense wants to do much of anything in this later second half, and in this 2:48 we have left in this first half, we have Day Reeves at the top of the key directing his offense. He's driving into the paint. That is blocked away disgustingly by Bell. Terrence Hill now in transition on the right wing, guarded by Akira Jacobs. He's driving into the paint now. He looks for a pass, takes it. Djokovic fakes the three, drives in, blocked by two guys, and his shot is short. Louis Lesmond with the rebound.
Fordham right there attacking Djokovic, not allowing him to get that easy look at the rim. Great job by Fordham. Needs to score here.
Mike McPile earlier said that the offense would allow, or the defense would allow for threes, but there's a whistle now on Day.
Mike McPile right now really upset with the referees. I'm not sure what the ref just saw there. This game has been aggressive and this game has been chippy, Derek, but we're calling fouls now on kind of a pass by that looked like a bump by VCU.
Was not much of anything from our viewing, but a turnover nonetheless for Fordham, as Evans now on the right wing drives, now in the right corner. He's in the paint now. A pass to Bell, and his short two isn't good. Tries to get his own rebound, unable to. It bounces around a couple of times, and Bodija ends up with the ball. Day Reeves now on the right side of the court. He is on the right wing, guarded by Jennings. Over to Schulte. He's near the top of the key. Gets some space. Back to Day. He's driving and loses the ball, but another whistle.
I think Day there thought that it was going to be on Fordham. And right now Fordham in the single bonus, so they will get some shots at the line, Day Reeves.
Day immediately looked up with a look of disgust and then realized, oh, that was not me. That's for me. So he'll now, as you said, shoot his free throw. 1:38 left in this first half. It's a 12-point deficit for the home team, the home Rams, in this battle of the Rams.
Fordham right now getting pretty lucky that Hill for VCU has not really been very loud with 0 points. After last game was the guy that brought them back in for Loyola Chicago.
Evans drives, makes the layup. Day missed his free throw, and VCU was able to take advantage of the possession there. Now it's 32-18 VCU, 1:19 in this first half. 14 points is the deficit for Fordham. Day gets a screen from Bodija, drives into the paint, not able to do much, not a good shot, passes to Rika Schulte and gets the easy lay.
That was a great pass by Day Reeves, who was almost about to travel on that foot and then gets it around those two larger defenders, gets it to Rika Schulte, who has the clear shot to the rim. Fordham needs that before going into the locker room, hopefully trying to cut it to 10.
Evans over to Bell at the top of the key. Almost runs into his teammate, Terrence Hill Jr. Back to Jennings on the right wing. Into Djokovic in the paint. Over to Bell in the paint. Back to Hill. His long three is good. From the eye of the Ram on the Fordham floor. Terrence Hill Jr. with his first three.
That's the guy you do not want to see get hot if you're the Fordham Rams. Terrence Hill Jr., before the game, we talked to Coach Mike McPile about it. He said he looks NBA ready, and that's because he really does look NBA ready when a fan is watching him from the eye. He has that stronger build. He can shoot pretty much from anywhere on the court today. Hasn't really been very loud. That was his first shot made of the game. But for Fordham, you cannot allow Hill to get ready and get hot, because Hill will just start drowning on you in threes and twos and strong buckets. He's the guy for VCU that has been so important this year coming off the bench. The best scorer in the A-10 per minute he plays this season. While Day Reeves is the best scorer by average in the A-10, Terrence Hill Jr. is the best scorer just in general by minutes.
This Fordham team already down 15. Terrence Hill, if you're Fordham, cannot get hot if you want to have a chance to come back in the second half.
You need to score on this possession. Listen, there's 0.9 on the shot clock in comparison. You can hold it to the last basket if you're Fordham. You got to make sure you have a good play here, and that is exactly why Coach Mike McPile took the timeout.
VCU with a large lead on their last possession with the Terrence Hill 3. Took a lot of time getting down the court. Just a waste time for the half. Full court press. Doesn't get a steal, but Christian Henry now at the top of the key for Fordham. Not even the top of the key, really right at half court. Just holding the ball. No one really moving. Everyone just wasting time. Abbas Bodija now with the ball. Immediately gets it taken. And then it falls out of bounds and rolls. Djokovic tried to grab it. Realized his teammate Noel was right there. Ahmad Noel. And thought he would grab it, but it just rolled out of bounds.
Fordham trying to execute a play and VCU predicting it immediately. 5 seconds left on the clock here, Derek. Fordham needs to have a good shot here at the basket. This is all about momentum here, Derek. If you get this momentum back going into the locker room, who's to say what happens in the second half?
35-20 is the VCU lead. 5.4 seconds and 5 seconds on the shot clock. The pass to Akira Jacobs, and he gets a layup off, and it goes in. Swirls around, it goes in. Noel's long shot just off. It hit a little high on the backboard, and it kind of scared me for a little bit, but did not go in. 35-22 is your score at halftime. The VCU Rams leading the battle of the Rams as Akira Jacobs with that lay to end the half gives some momentum to this Fordham team.
That's a big shot there for Akira Jacobs. That is a big shot for Akira Jacobs, allowing for Fordham to get some more momentum going into this next half, getting that play drawn up properly this time, getting around the defender and getting to the hoop. If you're Fordham, listen, Coach Mike Magpayo has to say something to his team about being scoreless and try to say something. Maybe if those threes aren't going down, maybe we have to stop shooting them. We got to figure out something else to do, and you know what that thing has to be is trying to profit by Day Reeves getting into the paint, penetrating. Other guys like Chris Henry getting into the paint and penetrating and trying to get those shots there. Fordham right now, 18 points in the paint. Almost all of their points have been in the paint tonight. So Fordham has to figure out a different way to get those scoring because VCU is just going to start drawing up new plays to get them out of the paint.
0 for 8 from 3 and 10 for 34 overall is the Fordham shooting. While VCU on the other side of the ball shooting 40% from the three-point line and 52% overall. That's a recipe for success. While the Fordham offense going 0 for 8 from the long ball is not. And this Fordham offense, as you said, something has to change. This VCU high-paced offense has been able to score, has been able to inbound their will on this Fordham defense to an extent, but this Fordham defense has held up.
I was just about to say, this VCU team, while how high-powered they are, they really haven't looked as good as they did in their other games. Last game against Loyola Chicago, the score was already up to 40 at the halftime mark. So, yet again, this Fordham defense is holding their own against this VCU team. The issue is that you have to be able to score the basketball if you're Fordham.
Absolutely, Kurt. And that'll do it for us here in the Rose Hill Gym for now, as we're going to send it to the studio for a halftime report with Gabby Price and Travis Hayden. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one halftime report.
And welcome in to the one-on-one halftime show here in our Rose Hill studios in the Bronx. My name is Gabby Price, joined this evening by my in-studio co-host Travis Hayden, and maybe a little bit later by our on-site reporter Izzy Rendazzo. The score at halftime in the Battle of the Rams is 35-22 in favor of the Rams from Virginia. Travis, this was always going to be a tough game for the Fordham Rams. Despite the fact that Fordham is on a 2-game win streak, playing some of their best basketball of the season, to be honest. VCU is on a 5-game win streak, and to be honest, they're showing a lot of the reasons why tonight here in our home gym, they're taking better advantage of opportunities that Fordham gives them. And of course, the pace that Derek and Kurt have been talking about all night, very noticeable in this game, and maybe most, prevalent on the stat sheet if you just look at it, the difference in scoring and even putting up shots. So lots to look at. Travis, what has your overall takeaway from this first half been?
It's not one of the first halves you want to remember. This is one of those first halves where you got to get the guys out for Men in Black, and you just have to erase that this happened. Going into this game, VCU, the other, as we like to call the other Rams, are currently 7-2 right now within the A-10 conference, and are currently third place in the A-10. where Fordham is a little bit behind, and they're 3-6 in the conference. So this was one of those games that was always going to be very tough, and they just haven't come out with the energy that you would really want to come out in this game, especially going into the locker room. It's been a really tough night shooting. Most of the times when I look at a stat or when we watch Fordham games, we always see Rika Schulte with the rebounding.
Right.
Like, he's always at like 15, 18, 19. Like, he's always up there. He's always has us ahead in the rebounding advantage. Win, lose, or draw, it's always going to be Rika Schulte rebound. Tonight, that's not happening. He has only gotten 3 rebounds on the day so far, while Brandon Jennings of VCU has 7, and Barry Evans has 5. So they have, and Rika Schulte is also not leading our team in rebounding right now. That's belonged to Day Reeves, who has our current leading scorer as well with 8 points. Mm-hmm. He had a nice effort play earlier on in the game off of a steal, which was awesome to see. But shots aren't going down the way we want to. Akira Jacobs, who's one of our leading scorers, as Kurt said earlier, he didn't get a bucket until the end of the half.
Yeah. I mean, and you talk about the rebounding, Travis. Fordham is 11th in the nation in rebound margin. They average 40.5 rebounds a game. And right now they're only at 15. VCU is 21. So I think that end of the ball is actually like a really interesting thing that you bring up, and maybe part of the reason why Fordham isn't getting some of those, opportunities down at the other end of the court or even second chance points. But we're going to bring in the third member of our halftime crew today. Izzy Randazzo is in our Rose Hill Gymnasium. Izzy.
What up, Izzy?
How's it going?
Hey guys, how are we?
We're good. I mean, so you have been there in this gym for this first half, Izzy. What's the vibe like? What have you seen from this Fordham team? Talk to us.
Definitely not seeing, the amount of shooting that we want to see. Going 0 for 8 for 3 is certainly not ideal. Historically, this Fordham team is not the most efficient with shooting threes. Their average for the season is 29%, and tonight they're 0%, so definitely lower than their average. I'm also just seeing that on the floor, the energy is not as palpable as it usually is, kind of going off of their other games, especially coming off of their 2 wins against LaSalle and GW. I just really want to see them build up their energy and maintain a strong, positive attitude kind of going into the second half.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because, you coming into this game, you're playing a really good team in VCU, so it feels like any of the momentum plays that Fordham gets, whether it's a block shot, whether it's a steal, even if they're not happening that often, it feels like you need to take advantage of those opportunities, and it's something right now that VCU is doing better than Fordham.
Yeah, that's something I agree. Izzy, I had a question for you, actually. As we could hear, you're there right now. We hear the music playing.
Yes.
Something we've been hearing through Derek and Kurt and even from the fans is that it kind of feels like it's an away game for Fordham, even though we're at the Rose Hill Gym. How is that environment in the crowd affecting everything right now? And how are these VCU fans traveling?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm honestly seeing maybe more VCU fans in the building than I am Fordham Rams fans,
nice.
Which is interesting. I've really never seen that be the case for really any of these games so far in the season, so that's definitely interesting to see. I mean, when you think about it, VCU is third in the A10. They are a very strong team. Their shooting tonight is incredible. The way they play the game is very impressive too, so it's no shock that they have people, fans, friends, family, everyone they know really just kind of coming in to see them play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's very interesting. I know some of my friends were talking about going to the game, so I hope they ended up pulling through so we don't have a larger VCU fan base than, home Fordham fan. But, I think, but regardless of that, I think Fordham should be used to playing in an environment where maybe they don't have a lot of fans. It's something that, you get 2 wins in a row, and a lot of that is to build momentum, not just in the locker room environment, but, for your fans, for your when you come back home to bring people to the game. And to be quite honest with you guys, it's not something that Fordham has had a whole ton of, a giant fan base or a giant crowd, for the past couple games. So honestly, any energy is energy, and I think Fordham needs to find a way to kind of ingrain that into how they can motivate themselves, even if it's, there's VCU fans here let's prove why we can win this game.
Yeah, I agree with that one. We do need to bring the energy up right now. Oh, against Duquesne, we saw it. It was a 13-point game with like 10 minutes left. And I know I bring this up a lot, but with like a couple minutes left, and then they got it within 3, and it was like, oh, we have a whole half right now with 13 points. A couple of these shots go down. We make a 3 or 2. It's still not out of reach.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right now, you're only 13 points back. I think you made it a good point, Travis. It's obviously not where you want to be in terms of, going into the second half, but there's still a lot of basketball to be played. I think something that both of you said, Travis and Izzy, is Fordham hasn't made a 3 tonight. And as you said a little bit earlier, Izzy, Fordham is not the best 3-point shooting team. We know that, but it still feels like being over 8 it feels a little confusing. How does that happen? I mean, as long as they're taking the shots that are open, then, you have to keep taking them. They'll fall eventually. But, I mean, Izzy, watching some of these 3-point shots off.
Gabby,
especially,
I hate to cut you
yeah,
off,
go ahead.
but I have a question for both you and Izzy right now. Even with the 0 for 8 from 3-point, do you still think that you still try and force the 3 ball this game, or do you address a different strategy?
I mean, I'll
Can you
take it
say that
first.
again? I'm sorry.
Oh,
it is so loud in here, guys.
It's okay. I said even with being 0 for 8 from 3, and I asked this both you and Gabby, do you guys think that we should abandon the 3 ball altogether, or keep shooting 3s and hopefully they start sinking?
Gabby, I'll let you take this one first. I'll just kind of jump off of what you said.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point, Travis. I honestly think no, as I just said, historically, as you said, throughout the season, they haven't been a great 3-point team. The past couple games in the wins, you've seen them made a couple more against AW. They had 6 against LaSalle. They had 8. So a lot of those do come in the second half is the thing. I think Fordham is a slightly better second half team than they are first. They a lot of times come out very slow in the first half, which is a problem in itself, and we don't even have time to get into that in this halftime show. But I think Fordham gets most of their points when they are in the paint, and so for them it's about getting the ball into the paint, and when they are there, capitalizing on those shots and making them.
So abandon the 3.
I don't think you can ever abandon the 3. I think so much of basketball is about the 3 now, but I think when you're a Fordham team that's better at shooting from the paint, then you have to do what you're good at.
Yeah, you just got to cut down into this deficit at this point.
Yes, I agree completely. I feel like it's not, maybe the best idea to abandon the 3 because, they do tend to, like Gabby said, they do tend to come back in the second half a lot of the time. They do tend to kind of make up for their lost points and build up that energy that they were kind of lacking in the first half oftentimes. So I feel like it is the most pivotal aspect of this game to maintain the efficiency in the paint because there are so many big players on this team. This team has a lot of height, a lot of aggression from each of their players. So I feel like maintaining their layups in the paint, just points in the paint overall, is going to be key for this Fordham team to get their points.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. I think that has to be one of the biggest focuses of this second half. Travis, if you had to pick one thing that Fordham should focus on in the second half, what would you say, really quick?
Akira Jacobs, get out of the. It was a bad first half. Just completely forget about it. You ended it well. Let's keep it rolling. That's what I would say.
Let's keep it rolling, and we're hoping in this battle the Rams have to win. Let's see if the Fordham Rams can make it a little more competitive than maybe it is right now.
I think Akira Jacobs got his confidence after the make. After missing 3, he got his confidence up. I think we're going to see a completely second half from him, as Kurt was saying
And
earlier.
Sometimes it just takes one, though. If you want to talk about just making one, Terrace Hill Jr. just made his first bucket of the night. He's a great player for this VCU team, so who knows? Maybe we'll have a completely different, in terms of shooters and shooting efficiency on both teams, but that will be just about it for our halftime show. We'll send it back to the Rose Hill Gym with Derek and Kurt, but Travis and I will be back here after the game for our post-game show. Make sure to tune in, but for now, we'll send it back to the Rose Hill Gym.
Welcome back in to the Rose Hill Gym. Hi, Derek Boyer, joined by Kurt Sippel once again as we look to continue the second half of Fordham men's basketball in just a little bit. But as Gabby and Travis talked a lot about, this Fordham offense has a lot of stuff to do. But a good point that they made was the question that Travis posed to both Izzy, which I forgot to mention before the time, but Izzy Randazzo joined them on the halftime report.
Our reporter at the gym right now, our beat reporter, analyzing all the stuff that me and Derek might miss.
Absolutely, and Travis posed an interesting question to the two of them, whether or not Fordham going 0 for 8 from 3 should abandon it and just maybe not focus too much on it. But the problem with that is if you abandon the 3 and you make that known to VCU, they can clamp down even harder in the paint, clamp down even harder for those long or short 2s. And you really just can't abandon that part of your offense, especially when someone like Akira Jacobs could light on fire at any time.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Listen, I don't think that you should give up on the 3-ball just yet. I think the difficulty is that you don't know if it's going to fall or not. That's the biggest issue. Listen, you're gonna have to keep shooting the 3-ball. Eventually, it's going to start going in. There's no guarantees about any of this, right, Derek? But at the end of the day, you have to figure out your offense. 3 is, at the end of the day, worth more than 2. So you have to figure out a way to maybe hit a little bit more of those shots. Those higher octane 3-ball shots are ones that also give Fordham a little bit more energy. The energy is something that you need to keep up in this entire game. And that is something that Fordham has been not lacking, because they definitely hit a lot more energy this game in this game because of how much VCU is expecting from them. But you need to keep up that energy. Against George Washington, only hitting 26% from their 3-point range. Yet again, that's not a lot of 3s, but those shots help a lot more. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They help on the perimeter. They help spread the defense a little bit more if you are the VCU, if you are Fordham, maybe disrupting VCU a little bit more. You never know what's going to happen, but you need to not give up on those 3-ball shots, because if you give up, it gives VCU carte blanche to not even guard on the perimeter anymore.
I think something that Fordham might need to do is pick up the pace a little bit. We saw a couple times Day-Day Reeves slowing down, allowing his offense to catch up, but maybe he needs to work and go forward himself and just take those chances one-on-one. But this second half of Fordham men's basketball here in the Rose Hill Gym begins now. 35-22 was your first half score, and it's Djokovic. Now VSU moving left, as there's a short 2 there from Terrence Hill Jr. that he misses, and there's a foul now on the floor.
Foul early on for Fordham, not something that you normally want to see. If you're Fordham, giving VCU that reset, not something that you need.
VCU with the inbound. That's Brandon Jennings now over to Djokovic, over to Evans in the left corner. He's now driving and he falls, but makes the pass while falling. In a right corner 3 from Tracy is good. A falling pass from Evans as he goes to the ground.
Adrian Tracy, the 38% 3-point shooter, knocking that down. It's a big shot for VCU. That is a big-time tone setter if you're VCU.
Immediately with the corner 3 makes this a 16-point lead for VCU, as Christian Henry now drives into the paint, doesn't even look at the basket, just goes back out to the right wing. He's now driving once again on Djokovic, but has to pass back to Akira Jacobs. Now over to Day-Day at the top of the key. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Day-Day working, driving, loses the ball, but gets it back and just gets a shot off, but doesn't make it. And now a whistle.
That's the whistle for the shot clock violation. I don't know what Christian Henry was doing there, not keeping his eyes on the basket. Yes, you had a taller defender on you in Djokovic, but at the end of the day, you have to keep your eyes on the basket to try to get a better shot there. You passed it to Akira Jacobs, who's also had a man on him.
Djokovic now in the paint. Passes back out to Jennings on the left wing, who drives, shoots a layup, and it's off. Rebound, Roa Core.
It's the kind of shot where Fordham needs to come up the court and respond when VCU is giving them an opportunity when they have a scoreless trip.
Jennings falls from a screen from Jacobs, but nothing called. Day Reeves being directed by Rika Schulte. Rika Schulte now turns. He shoots a layup, and it's good. A nice one-armed hook from Rika Schulte.
Rika Schulte getting distance from his defender, number 17 there, and getting it right off the glass. Great move by Rika Schulte.
Barry Evans now in the paint, passes out to Terrence Hill Jr., who backs up, slips a little bit, but backs back out. Working on Christian Henry, back over to Barry Evans, who passes back out to Tracy at the top of the key. 38-24 is the VCU lead. Tracy now drives, turns, spins, shoots a little shot, blocked by Roar Core.
Great block by the freshman Roar Core. That's the energy play, Derek. You can cut it now down to not single digits, but you're getting close to that point.
Christian Henry drives, whistle. Christian Henry, interesting, was on the right wing, drove, only had one guy on him. He had one body on him, and it seemed like he had a shot there, but just chose to back off.
Christian Henry not playing very aggressive basketball, I think is what you're trying to say right there, Derek, because he hasn't played very aggressive in this game so far. And in those last 3 plays that we've seen him with the ball at the basket, backing off, not attempting those shots, it's not aggressive basketball.
Day Reeves drives, layup good. 38-26 now, 17-20 in this first half.
Fordham now down 12, 2 empty trips by VCU, and then 2 trips at the basket for Fordham.
A nice pass to Barry Evans into the paint, but he misses the lay. And then Rika Schulte and Roar Core both tried to get the rebound. Roar Core ends up on the ground, and that might be off Fordham.
You know, something that Fordham missed a lot when Roar was out is that just effort that he puts into this. I've heard Coach Mike Magpayo talk about how as Fordham steals the ball, Roar Core just wants to hoop, and he's been doing that in this game.
As now that was batted away by Terrence Hill Jr. out of bounds from Roar Core on the left side of the court, but a really nice steal there from Rika Schulte on the inbound from VCU to take away that mistake from Roar Core and from himself, obviously, on the rebound from the missed shot.
Fordham 4 of 5 in their last 5 attempts at the field right now. This is a different Fordham Rams team than when we saw at the half.
Christian Henry, left wing, guarded by Hill Jr. Rika Schulte sets a screen, gets the pass, gets a nice lay, but doesn't get it. Jennings now in transition. Tracy over to Djokovic, and now Tracy inbound. Jennings slam. A lot of passing and movement from this VCU offense gives Jennings some space for a nice slam.
That was a constant movement play for VCU. Brandon Jennings getting to a wide open lane and then just slamming the ball right down into the basket, trying to get this VCU contingent back up as Day gets fouled by VCU. That's their 8th foul on the game so far for VCU, and it's getting chippy right now down on the court.
Day forcing a lot of contact, constantly driving into the paint. He's got 10 points on 5 of 10 shooting, and he's allowed himself to get fouled. Got very angry when he had a charging foul, but gotten fouled a couple times and giving Fordham some new looks, some new shot clocks.
That's Brandon Jennings' 3rd foul, and that would be a big loss right now for VCU if he got fouled out of this game. 2 blocks, 3 rebounds for Brandon Jennings, and 6 points.
Day Reeves driving once again. The layup is put back by Rika Schulte. The missed lay. As Fordham fans,
it looks like right now we're seeing the Fordham swim team in the fan section right now with a Fordham drawn out on their chest, all in their Speedos, Derek.
Bell misses a short 2. And some whistles. We go to immediate timeout. Fordham spelled out on the chest. Speedo night in the Rose Hill Gym.
They're trying to amp up the student section right now, Derek, and that play should have amped up the entire crowd for Fordham, getting the ball back. Yet another empty trip for VCU. Now Fordham has to amp up here with this new effort from the student section.
A Day Reeves missed layup into a Rika Schulte slam. Hypes up the Rose Hill Gym. People are getting undressed. That's how hype it is right now. 40-28 is the deficit for Fordham right now, but it seems like it's a lot closer in this gym. There's energy, there's momentum, and Fordham needs to build on this.
Right now, you just got to cut it to 10. Once you start cutting it to 10, it just starts going further and further down for Fordham. This is something that you really need if you're the Fordham Rams. And also some news to announce that has nothing to do with the college basketball right now, but James Harden will be joining the Cleveland Cavaliers as Darius Garland, like we talked about earlier in the game, has been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Wow.
That is a big move in the NBA so far, but now shifting back to college basketball. Just had to mention that after seeing that, that's a very big move in the NBA. But Fordham right now, this game, you said that, Derek, it feels closer than it is, because right now it really does feel closer. The energy in this room is just a lot of higher octane, and right now VCU is struggling. They've had those empty trips, and that's what you need if you're Fordham, because those empty trips allow for VCU to start getting in their own head. They get a little upset with themselves, and more mistakes start happening. Because the issue is, you can play fast and you can play with pace, but also what comes with playing fast and playing with pace, comes with mistakes. And teams that get in their own head a little bit more can start turning the ball over a little bit more. VCU with 9 turnovers to Fordham 6. So things are starting to change in the Fordham direction just a little bit, nudging a little bit there.
VCU already with 3 fouls in this first half. They're also 2 for 7 from the field, while Fordham 3 for 5 so far in their attempts. As this Fordham gym is loud, it is hype, as the Fordham swim team in nothing but caps, a Speedo, and tennis shoes.
Don't forget about their goggles. We're seeing their goggles too.
There are some goggles. I'm not sure how much that's helping them right now, but I like the energy. I love the energy.
Big time energy right now from the Fordham swim team in the student section. They need that boost.
Christian Henry inbounds to Day Reeves as this game restarts from the media timeout. 15:50 left in the second half. 12-point deficit Fordham needs to overcome. Christian Henry, top of the key, right on the Fordham M. Moves right wing, but still off quite a bit as Let's Go Fordham chants start to rain down from the stands. Christian Henry driving, his lay blocked. Djokovic with the block for VCU. And now Bell in transition, left wing, passes back to Noel, who then drives into the paint, almost gets it knocked away, and it is knocked away. And now VCU just barely able to get back across half court. Ward. Bell now over to Noel, top of the key. Noel now driving, left wing. Back into Bell, right on the A10 logo in the paint. Gets a short 2, and it bounces around and goes. 42-28.
For Bell right there, surveying the Fordham defense just a little bit more, not really allowing, taking his time more than anything. VCU had only 4 or 5 seconds left on that shot clock, and Bell knew that he can complete that shot, so I didn't pass it out.
Day Reeves 3, it's good! Fordham with their first 3, and it's a big one. Day left wing.
Out of anyone you want to see, it's Day Reeves, the 27% from 3. That can boost the Fordham team.
Rika Schulte knocks the pass to Djokovic away. Christian Henry now moves down the court. Akira Jacobs, top of the key 3, just off. A lot of contact there as Rurikor is on the ground wincing his right knee.
That looked very bad for Rurikor as he holds his ankle immediately after landing on the ground. Hopefully Rurikor will be okay as he walks away with his own power right now. It's good for Fordham to see that. But yet again, that was a big shot for Fordham that you really need Akira Jacobs to knock down. So far in this game for Akira Jacobs, he's only taken 2 threes and he hasn't made any of them. Those are those threes that you need. The X factor, we talked about this. Akira Jacobs and Christian Henry as well, as Fordham shows zone.
This century-old gym might have just exploded if he made that 3. Noel with the long 3, doesn't make it, and Evans, a disgusting slam on the rebound.
Barry Evans looks at the swim team and with the crank down dunk over there as he smiles back after he quiets the crowd just a little bit.
Another 3, Rurikor, but it's tipped. Bell with the rebound. Terrence Hill Jr. now, top of the key 3, splash.
That is something that, as we can see right there,
as
the
Terrence
teams are celebrating in the half court, looking at the Fordham crowd with the shoe away celebration is what it seems like. That is a energy killer right there for Fordham. That three that they just hit. Surprised that the refs might not have called something after that, but that was a big energy shifter as Fordham went on a run, and then VCU responds with a 5-0 run of their own.
Hill Jr. and Barry Evans combining to wave the crowd away as this Fordham gym was just loud a minute ago and is now all but silenced here in the Bronx as Fordham is forced to call a timeout. And after that back-breaking three, 47-31 is the VCU lead, 13-39 left in the second half.
Listen, Day Reeves with that three-point shot, it really felt like the crowd was so much more into this game. And then immediately VCU, you could tell the difference between teams that are so great because VCU responds to the energy, and it felt like they might have taken it to themselves, and they respond all the way back on that 5-0 run with a cock-back dunk and then immediately a three-point shot after that. If you're Fordham, you got to figure out a way to stop this momentum for VCU that they've had all game. You only got 13 minutes and 39 seconds left to go, but if you're Fordham, starting with the rebounds. Right now being out-rebounded 28-19. That is something that you cannot see if you're Fordham. Getting those extra effort right now, getting out-rebounded on defense, but also out-rebounding them on offense. That is something that is big for Fordham. But yet again, it's so tough to win a basketball game, especially against such a high-octane team like VCU, if you're not getting your own rebounds and you're allowing VCU to get out and running.
Absolutely, Kurt. A lot of things need to change for this Fordham offense. It seems like they were taking a turn with that momentum shift, but it goes right back to VCU. The swim team for the student section doing their absolute best to raise this energy once again, get Fordham back in this momentum. But they're just a six-man crew, and I believe they're being shown on the ESPN Plus broadcast at the moment. The highlight of their college careers. Maybe.
Definitely going to be shown on the ESPN Plus broadcast, but they're D1 swimmers, Derek. I think they have some other highlights in their college careers right now.
They might.
Some good Fordham sports all throughout the A10, not only basketball, but also swimming, and water polo has been something that Fordham has profited out quite a lot. But right now, just to reflect back on the A10, hopefully what Fordham has tried to do here, bringing in Mike Magpaio, trying to figure out a way to get those wins back. And right now, you are attempting to, you're not going to be at the top of the conference at the end of the game, at the end of the day, but you're trying to get that bye, a single bye or a double bye, to get into that tournament, get there a day later. That's something that's big for Fordham.
Kira Jacobs back to Day, top of the key. Louis Lesmond now back in this game. So is Abbas Bodija, right wing. Back to Akira Jacobs, top of the key. Rua Kaur seems to be okay after his fall. He's top of the key now as well. Right wing, Louis Lesmond still in motion, not able to get past the three-point line. 3 seconds left. Louis Lesmond forced to take a long two, just off. Rua Kaur, though, gets the rebound as it hit the rim, so they'll get a new shot clock. Rua Kaur loses it for a second, gets it back. Louis Lesmond calling for the ball, but no one's seeing him. This Fordham offense will reset as Day, 6 seconds, is on the Fordham logo once again. He's driving into the paint. A guy jumps on top of him. Bell.
Day Reeves taking all of the contact in the world there to get those foul shots. It's big for Fordham right there. But yet again, Rua Kaur at the corner, and the Fordham offense just kind of running away from him and leaving him out on an island alone. VCU seeing that and then going to guard the offense right there. So not allowing for Rua Kaur to get that easy pass out. He's lucky to get it to Day Reeves for that shot as he knocks down his first free throw after missing one of his free throws earlier in the game. Rua Kaur checks out of this game. And one thing that Fordham needs right now is you need the energy, and they're keeping the energy just a little bit, and they can't lose it. But those plays like keeping Rua Kaur on the sideline alone cannot allow that to happen in this game quite often.
Rika Schulte replaces Rua Kaur. Djokovic and Tracy also enter the game for VCU as Day hits his second free throw. 47-33 is the VCU lead. 12:47 left in the second half. Evans over to Noel on the Fordham O. Still at top of the key, Tracy left wing. Nice pass to Djokovic. Back to Tracy, left wing 3. Just short air ball, but it goes out of bounds off Day.
Can hear the air ball chant from the Fordham faithful right there. But yet again, you had to gather in that rebound. You're giving VCU an extra possession right here. Right now, the only person in double figures right now is Evans for VCU, not a rarity for VCU.
Tracy, short 2, misses. Evans tries to grab the rebound, and he does, but Abbas Bodija does as well. It'll be Fordham ball.
That is a rarity for VCU that only one guy, Barry Evans, is currently in double figures with 11 points. Everyone else splitting the time with 6 and 5.
This goes to show that this Fordham defense has really showed out. The Fordham offense, not as much, but a lot of different players doing a lot for this VCU offense to still keep them in this game, even when nothing or not everything is working. As Rika Schulte with a lay, but misses it.
Hey, that's the second. That's for Rika Schulte. That's a big time at the line for Rika Schulte, who gets more time, who tries to get Fordham while they're not scoring at the rim. They might be able to score at the line. Rika Schulte is a 71% shooter from the free throw line, and Fordham has been 1 of 5 in their last field goal shots as Schulte misses his first.
A big miss there. The layup also, this would have been an and 1 if he was able to secure that. And he takes his second free throw, makes that one. 47-34 is the score now, 12 minutes left in this game. Evans to Newell, top of the key. Tracy back to Newell. Same play they ran last time. Back to Tracy, left wing, over to Djokovic. Seems VCU running the same thing, but that's dropped away. Day driving, one man to beat, but he slows up. Another 3 there, not good. Kira Jacobs short on the 3.
Day trying to get his teammates involved. Akira Jacobs not.
Terrence Hill Jr. with an errant behind the back pass. No one's been able to pick it up.
Over and back right there for VCU. Another good Fordham play, not allowing VCU to score. But right there, Day Reeves, what he did well there was trying to get his teammate involved, Akira Jacobs, who hasn't made his 3-point shots. So he sees Akira Jacobs behind him. He sees that he has a wider open shot that he might be able to knock down. And that's something that you need if you're Akira Jacobs, get that confidence. And that's what Day was trying to do, allow Akira to get that confidence, just unable to knock it down.
And he absolutely needs that confidence. 0 for 3 from 3 so far in this game, 1 for 6 overall. 2 points and 1 rebound is Akira Jacobs' stat line right now. But we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Gym for a one-on-one update from Travis Hayden. Take it away.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
You are currently listening to Fordham versus VCU that is being called by 2 WFUV greats in Kurt Sippel and Derek Beaulieu, but let's see what's happening in the rest of the A10. The St. Bonaventure Bonnies are currently taking on the Dayton Flyers, and they are trailing by 2 with 13 minutes and 23 seconds left in the second half. LaSalle is currently taking on Loyola Chicago, and it is currently the first half in the game with 8:21 left to go. LaSalle is up by 3. And the top-ranked A10 leaders right now is St. Louis, and they are taking on Davidson live at 9 o'clock on CBS. St. Louis, along with being the A10 leaders, are the number 19th ranked team in the nation. I'm Travis Hayden, and this has been the one-on-one scoreboard update.
Welcome back into the Rose Hill Gym once more. Derek Boyer joined by Kurt Sippel as the swim team still shirtless over on the student section, taking selfies now. But this basketball game has continued to be a very VCU fast-paced, heavy offense. But if you really take a wider stance at this game, VCU's offense still has not come together.
It's been a lot slower than we usually see it right now. Barry Evans with the only player in double figures so far in today's game. Even Hill, who got the start today after not starting any games and scoring 24 points against Loyola Chicago, he hasn't really gotten into motion, and he's only had 6 points, and Fordham has held VCU scoreless for the last 2 minutes. But the other issue is Fordham hasn't been able to knock down their shots, 1 of 6 from in their last field goal attempts. So Fordham has to start, Fordham has to start scoring when they have these runs of scorelessness from VCU, who's leaving the door wide open. You're feeling the breeze, the rain, the snow coming into the house because VCU is leaving the door so wide open.
Christian Henry with the inbound to Roar Core, who takes a right wing three immediately. It's good! In the corner for Roar Core.
Here we go for Roar Core. That's a big three-point shot, cutting the deficit to only 10.
Noel now right wing, Tracy top of the key. Noel again looks to pass, takes it to Tracy left wing. Defense chance raining down. Djokovic in the paint. Short two, makes it right over his defender.
Yet again, Rika Schulte should have had his hands up against Djokovic. This is something that Fordham has struggled with in today's game, it seems like, on defense. I understand you're not trying to get the foul call, but you have to keep those hands up so you're not allowing those free, easy floaters from Djokovic.
Christian Henry working on Jennings. Roar Core again, right wing. Near the same spot that he had. Rika Schulte now top of the key. He's now driving on Djokovic near the paint. Not able to get much space. Looks at a two, takes another one, misses it. Abbas Bodija with the rebound, then gets fouled.
Bodija right there is trying to get the ball back at the rim, misses it, and then goes back up, and VCU fouls Bodija. That is a big-time foul yet again. VCU up to 13 fouls on today's game, and multiple players with multiple fouls. Bell has 3, Noel has 2, Jennings has 3, as well as Djokovic, who just got called, as well as Djokovic, who has 2 as well. Barry Evans called for that last foul as Bodija hits his first free throw.
Huge second chance points off the free throws for Fordham. 49-38 is the current score. One more will cut the deficit back to 10. 10:32 left in this game, and he makes it 49-39.
All you need now, Derek, is to cut it into single digits. You cut it to 10. Now try to cut it down to 9, 8, 7. You got to do that so VCU can continue to get into their own head here.
That pass from Tracy into Djokovic into the paint, knocked away by Schulte, but a foul will keep it VCU ball.
That's Rika Schulte's third foul on today's game, as now VCU will get a reset. Another person that would be a big loss if he had more fouls. Rika Schulte up to 3. 11 points on the day for Rika.
Barry Evans immediately loses the ball, but another whistle as the inbound went to Barry Evans, lost the ball immediately from Bodija, who gets called for a foul.
That's his 4th team foul on Fordham, and yet again, another reset for VCU, allowing them to get another play drawn up and getting something ready to go.
The inbound now to Tracy on the right wing, guarded by Rika Schulte. Not Rika Schulte, Roar Core. Jennings now left wing. Over to Terrence Hill Jr. on the right wing. Gets a string from Djokovic, who then takes a shot. Blocked by Bodija, but another whistle.
That's on Roar Core. His 3rd foul. Another player with 3 fouls for Fordham. Did not really look like a foul on Djokovic as the Fordham swim team gets under the basket. Try to get in Djokovic's head here.
He does. The swim team, very hyped. They no longer spell Fordham as they're out of
order.
But if it works, it works as they try to get a rare double miss. And Djokovic makes that second free throw, 50-39 with 10 minutes left in this game. A lot of time still for Fordham to cut this deficit. As you said, Kurt, cut it into singles and slowly start cutting away.
You got to chip away, and that's what this Fordham team has done all year when they're down, chipping away and not being behind, and when they're coming from behind.
Bodija into the right wing, trying to get into the paint off Evans. Takes a short 2, hits the rim. VCU in transition. Now over to Terrence Hill Jr. Go back to Djokovic, who tries to slam it down. But isn't able to, but gets fouled on the way there.
Another foul, and yet again, VCU. That is 4 fouls in the last not even maybe 2 minutes for Fordham.
30 seconds.
It feels like it could be quicker. And yet again, VCU is getting extra opportunities at the line. that they really always profit at. One of the top teams in the country, as Jokovic misses his first. And guess what? If he misses another one, this gym will get free Chick-fil-A tomorrow.
All fans will get free Chick-fil-A tomorrow with a second missed free throw from Jokovic as the swim team once again distracting. They picked up one of their members earlier. They're now holding signs that say 6'7", but Jokovic, through all the distractions, is able to make that second free throw. 51-39, 12 points is the deficit. 9:30 in this half now. Christian Henry once again, top of the key, right wing, as he's taking some space when he can into the paint, gets fouled. His shot not going.
See, that's the aggressive play that you need from Christian Henry. You haven't seen a lot of that in today's game, when he's not looking at the basket, when he has his back towards the basket, dribbles back out to the corner and trying to assist. Listen, that is the style of play that he likes to play, which is ball in the hand and trying to find someone else like Day-Day Reeves to get the ball and get that attempt at the basket. But you can't always do that if you're Fordham. So you got to figure out something else to do. And getting those fouls, getting that foul for Christian Henry and trying to knock down both of those shots to bring it back within 10 is good heads-up basketball.
Christian Henry makes both the free throws as Barry Evans and Akira Jacobs both ended up on the floor after the made free throw. 51-41, 9 minutes left in this half. Brennan Jennings resetting, directing the offense. Tracy now, left wing, top of the key again for Jennings. He drives out to Evans, out to Terrence Hill Jr. Thought about a long three for a second, but takes it back. And now Jokovic thought about a left, blocked by Ruakor. Jokovic thought about a three, drove, and then blocked by Ruakor, but a whistle.
And Christian Henry got fouled on it, it seems like, before that happened. And now Fordham in the bonus. So every foul from here is now going to be at the line, no matter what. Jokovic in double figures, joining Evans with 10 points.
Another missed free throw from Jokovic.
He continues to miss that first, teasing the Fordham faithful with free Chick-fil-A tomorrow.
The swim team doing all they can to get them extra calories. It's loud in the Rose Hill Gym. The free throw's up, and it's good.
He continues with that first free throw make and then missing that second. Fordham calling, Christian Henry calling the play under the basket. Christian Henry, Enrique Scholta bringing it up the court.
Christian Henry still calling plays. Kira Jacobs now left wing. Over to Schulte at the top of the key. Now right wing. Ruakor moving towards the corner. He's moving back to the corner for the three, but he's stuck. Christian Henry now right wing. 5 seconds on the shot clock. He takes the three and just off. But then Akira Jacobs almost gets the rebound, but it's knocked away. Ward with it, but he's on the ground getting attacked by Rika Schulte and Christian Henry, and it'll be Fordham ball.
That is great extra effort from Fordham right there. Akira Jacobs seeing the loose ball, diving on the ground. Christian Henry diving for the loose ball as well. They don't care right now about bodies on the line here. They're just trying to get those extra possessions that VCU is letting them have. Right there, Fordham with those extra possessions. They need to keep going. They need to score on these possessions. Right now, still 1 of 7 in their last field goal attempts. Christian Henry had that knock in and out there from 3. A bounce there could have changed an outlook for Fordham with the 3 in.
Officials discussed that call for quite a bit, but it does end up being Fordham ball. Christian Henry will have the inbound, and he'll go to Ruakor in the corner, who attempts a 3, but it's blocked. Didn't even leave his hands before Ward slapped it out of bounds. It'll stay Fordham ball, but that was nasty.
That was quite the nasty block from VCU. Ruakor after that from Christian Henry saying, my bad, shouldn't have put up that shot. And that's a VCU foul. Another foul on VCU.
With Fordham and VCU both being in the bonus, off-ball foul ends up being free throws. Ruakor will be taking them. Ruakor not much of a free throw shooter.
Roracore, the freshman.
And he misses the one free throw he gets. But Fordham able to get the rebound. Roracore now right wing three. It's good! Splash for Roracore. 52-44 now with 8 minutes left.
VCU might have banged the phone on Roracore the last time, but he picks it back up and he throws it right back into the hoop to get Fordham back into it.
Ward with a miss layup, and that ball's on the ground. It rolls out of bounds. A lot of dudes on the floor. And it'll go to immediate timeout. I'm not sure who has the ball.
I think that's what the referees are going to review here, but man, Derek, it is loud in here. It is very loud in here. And that is something that Fordham wants to have, because that's the extra advantage that this Rose Hill gym gives you. It gives you the sixth man on the court.
Izzy Randazzo next to me, startled a little bit by the defense chants and some stomping. I saw her at the corner of my eye. I was somewhat startled as well, as defense was raining down from the people in this gym. It is loud in here. The Fordham swim team is still in just Speedos.
Right now, Roracore with that big three-point shot. That is a massive, massive point for Fordham right there, giving Fordham a lot more momentum back. And something to notice, Jack Whitbourne, who was playing in today's game earlier on, who had 2 points on the night with 9 minutes, he's been on the bench for the rest of the time, looking like more in street clothes, Derek. He's not coming back into this game. Saw that earlier, thanks to Izzy Randazzo, told us about that. So Jack Whitbourne, a big loss for Fordham here, not being in this game, but Roracore, man, doing everything he can to will Fordham back into this game, playing on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball, hitting that three and then going back on the other side of the court and then trying to go after a ball on the extra possession. And I believe that VCU is probably going to retain possession on this play. But Fordham's defense getting it back into single digits here, Derek, with 7:45 left to go. Fordham has all the opportunity to take this game back into the reins.
It's a 5-1 run for Fordham in the past minute 45 as they cut this lead now 8, 52-44, 7:45 left in this half, as I don't believe that the referee, I believe they have been. It is going to be VCU ball to start after this media timeout. But as you said, Jack Whitbourne in street clothes, doesn't seem like he'll return. It's a big blow to Fordham. For Ricky Schulte, Akira Jacobs, and Roracore, some big men doing some big things for the boys in white.
Right now for both teams, lacking on the bench points as well. Both teams only getting about 12 points for VCU from their bench, while Fordham is getting 10 points from their bench in today's game. Last game for VCU, 51 points. 51 of their points came from the bench against Loyola Chicago. So that is a big-time difference for this VCU squad, trying to rely on their starting players here. And yet again, Derek, VCU with those big plays that they had earlier in the game with those dunks, and they also had those big three-point shots where the team was shooing away the Fordham crowd. The Fordham crowd's coming right back into this game, not to be shooed away by VCU again.
They're not taking those taunts lightly, as it actually is Fordham ball.
Fordham on a 5-0 run, just a chance to extend it.
Thought it was signaled to be VCU ball, but it is in fact Fordham ball. Christian Henry now top of the key, passes to Akira Jacobs. Looks for a pass, goes to Schulte, top of the key. Now it's Day top of the key. A lot of movement for this Fordham team. Christian Henry now gets the ball back. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Christian Henry now moving. Day Reeves, left wing, fakes the three, drives into the paint. His layup is just off, and it's tipped by Schulte. Then Akira Jacobs wants the rebound, and it's good.
That's that great second effort from Akira Jacobs, who right now is up to 4 points on tonight's game, but that feels like a big 4 points from Akira Jacobs, getting Fordham back into this game.
Djokovic on the VCU side of the ball seems like he has some kind of injury, but that pass is knocked away. Schulte in transition over to Christian Henry. The offense will slow down. Roracore, another three, just off. And Harris Hill Jr. will get the rebound. But I was always saying Djokovic rowing down the court was grabbing his leg, then grabbing his foot, but no call.
He was wincing in pain just a little bit, also holding his stomach area as well.
No break for him, as he'll play through it. A high pass to Bell. He's able to get it. As he drives on Schulte, it's knocked away. But a foul.
What foul was there for the referees to call there, Derek? It was a knockaway right there for Fordham. Enrique Schulte gets called for the foul. Enrique Schulte is going to be forced to come out of this game. He's going to be forced to come out of this game with 4 fouls.
Enrique Schulte, the junior from Germany, clearly frustrated, surprised, shocked even at the whistle. He'd simply knocked the ball away.
I'm quite shocked as well there, Derek, on that call from the referees, because that was something that you would not. It was a knockaway that he was trying to. It was a knockaway that Christian Henry was back trying to get, and they called the bailout for VCU.
With Enrique Schulte leaving, Rora Core leaves as well. Abbas Bodija and Louis Lesmond replace them. It'll be Bell with a free throw, and he makes it. And he'll get 2.
Bell, a 52% free throw shooter. Last game, only hitting 1 of his 2 that he got against Loyola Chicago.
He makes the second as well. The swim team unable to contribute as the 6th man this time. 54-46, 6:30 left in this game. VCU still leading as they have for this whole game. Remember, it started with a big slam that immediately took the air out of the gym. It has returned, but every time it does, it seems VCU finds some way to break the momentum. Day, top of the key, a 3 from Akira Jacobs. It's good! The energy returns once again. Jacobs with a big 3.
A major shot for Akira Jacobs getting back into this game. Fordham now cutting the lead down to just 5.
The spark plug of this offense might have returned as that ball's knocked away, but another whistle and another Fordham foul. Christian Henry also now with 4 fouls, but refusing to leave this game.
Christian Henry waving away the bench after they said, let me come out, I'm not coming out of this game. Telling the bench that he's not coming out. As he does come out of the game, he seems very upset with the staff after that. He's saying to the bench, Derek, I think we could read lips just a little bit, I'm good. My fault, but I'm good here. As they bring back in Roar Court.
A lot of sound in this gym trying to get the free throw to get missed, and it is Bell, 52% free throw shooter, misses the 3rd out of the 3 that he's taken in just a couple seconds. Day Reeves will control this offense now. Looking right at Akira Jacobs, who now it's Rora Core on the right wing. Back to Day. 6 seconds on the shot clock as he drives in the paint, backs up, and that ball's knocked. It'll be VCU ball.
Right there, Day Reeves trying to get a handle on the ball. He just misses it out. And that's the cause of trying to rush the shot there with only 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Fordham needed that score there to bring themselves even closer to VCU. Need a big defensive stand here if you're Fordham. Right now, VCU 1 of 4 in their last attempts from the field. And the defense chants only grow louder. And that VCU contingent in the gym really quiet.
Fordham with the score there would have cut this game to 1, or a 1-score game, as it's Barry Evans now, and now it's Bell on the left wing. Over to Terrence Hill Jr. He takes a long 3, and it's just off, but Evans able to get the rebound before not going out of bounds. Bell now over to Djokovic on the right wing, looking at Terrence Hill, who gets the ball now also on the right wing. Over to Djokovic, who drives into the paint. His layup is no good, but a foul. Another whistle going against Fordham. Rora Core now with 4 fouls.
3 members of the Fordham Rams currently with 4 fouls, and now Fordham in the double bonus. This is the issue, Derek, what we talked about earlier in the game. You got to defend with your hands up because they're going to milk these free throw chances. 23% of the VCU points this year come at the line, and it's currently happening later in this game as they're unable to convert from the field. They're trying to convert at the line by milking those foul calls when Fordham overcommits on defense.
Djokovic finally able to make his first of 2 free throws, and he makes the second as well. He's perfect on the second one. 12 VCU points off free throws. They're 12 for 17, 70% in this game. As the full court press in effect once again. 56-49 is the score here at the Rose Hill Gym. Battle of the Rams. Mike Magpio yelling at his team in white. Louis Lesmond driving. Akira Jacobs' layup is good. Gets the 2 back. 56-51. 4:30 left in this game.
Akira Jacobs up to a quick 9 points, being a good spark plug for this Fordham offense with down 5.
Terrence Hill Jr., top of the key, guarded by Louis Lesmond. It's Bell, back to Hill Jr. The pass is tipped away. Louis Lesmond has it in transition. Day Reeves now able to reset his offense. A big stop for Fordham. Abbas Kodaja now back on the floor.
Fordham can make this game a one-possession game if they play their cards right with Day at the top of the key.
Day driving his lay. Good! A finesseful, elegant layup from Day Reeves cuts this to one possession.
Have a day. 17 points on the night, and we're not even over with the game yet. This Fordham team has been scoring at a higher clip than we've seen in the first half of play so far. The first half for Fordham. The first half only shooting just 29%. The second half bringing that all the way up to 43% from the field. A big play for Fordham and a big play as well for Akira Jacobs and the Fordham Rams and Day Reeves. Fordham slowing it down the way that they wanted to, and now cutting it into a single-digit deficit. That's what happens when you give the ball to your guy in Day Reeves and tell him to go get a bucket.
56-53, 4 minutes left in this game. We got to send it back to the Rose Hill Gym, the Rose Hill Studio, for another one-on-one update with Travis Hayden. Take it away.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. We have a long line of NBA games to get to, starting with the New York Knicks. There are 4 minutes left in the third quarter, but luckily the New York Knicks are up by 30 on the Washington Wizards, 96-66. The Orlando Magic are currently taking on the reigning NBA champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Thunder are putting on a dominant performance. 8:45 left in the second quarter. The Thunder are up 45-19. In a rematch of the 2024 NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics are currently taking on the Dallas Mavericks. The Celtics lead 53-34 with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the second quarter. The Bulls are currently playing the Bucks right now. 7 minutes, 23 seconds left to go. The Bucks are up 51-32. I'm Travis Hayden, sending it back to Derek and Kurt to end this big game.
Welcome back once more to the Rose Hill Gym as we have a much closer game here for you guys. 56-53 is the VCU lead now. They've been leading this whole game. I'm Derek Boyer, joined by Kurt Sippel, and the quote, my guy Kurt, have a day. 17 points, 7 for 14 shooting. He has a 3, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals for him as well. He's one of the only main guys that have been scoring so far in this game for Fordham to not be in foul trouble. Rikas Schulte, Christian Henry, and Rory Core all with 4 fouls. They're in trouble, but he only has 2. And a lot of the Fordham offense, a lot of the Fordham team doesn't have fouls if they've been stacked against the same guys.
Well, the big issue right now, Derek, is Fordham with three of their big players in tonight's game. Rory Core, Christian Henry, and Rikas Schulte, who has played some pretty big minutes for Fordham, might not jump out on the stat sheet. Christian Henry with 8 assists. That does jump out on the stat sheet, but you need these guys later in the game, so that's why they're not on the court right now, but you need these guys on the court, so 4 fouls on 3 of your best players is really hurting the Fordham offense, not allowing them to be in these 4 minutes.
Defense chants rain down as Day waved up the crowd. That's Bell right under the rim. He has to back off, trying to find a guy to pass to, and he finds Ward. Ward, top of the key, working on Day. Now he's in the paint. Back to Bell, top of the key. 7 seconds on the shot clock. VCU forced to play slower. 5 seconds. Terrence Hill right under the rim. Ball's knocked away. Over to Bell. His short two is off. Shot clock expires. It's knocked away. Djokovic gets the rebound. Whistle now.
Is that another foul on Fordham? I'm pretty sure it was. But that was...
Regardless if this comes away with VCU points, which Djokovic will once again shoot free throws.
That's Podesia's third foul right there. But wow from Fordham right there.
A lot of good defense.
Great defense from Fordham, only allowing VCU to get a shot up with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Fordham really needs to get into that rebound because they needed that so badly to go up the court and get that energy back for Fordham. Right now, VCU 1 of 6 in their last attempts at field goal. They've only been profiting at the line right now, Derek.
Lazar Jokovic, 6'11", 235 from Serbia with 10 free throw attempts, and he's made 7. 58-53. Data is getting trapped by this VCU defense. Roa Core now in the left corner. Back to Dede on the left wing. Rika Schulte signaling, saying he has space, and he sets a screen for him. Dede has a guy falling on top of him, passes back to Akira Jacobs. Louis Lesmond now, he's driving right under the rim. Backwards lay, it's good! The Frenchman baking here in the Rose Hill Gym.
That was that Eiffel Tower touch.
I like that.
By Louis Lesmond, that behind the glass layup for Louis Lesmond. An impressive play by the Fordham Rams.
A high pass for Ward. He's able to capture it. It seems like he hit Rika Schulte in the face there, but no call, and he makes the lay. 60-55 now. The VCU Rams lead the Fordham Rams. 2:30 left in this game. Akira Jacobs complaining he just got tripped to the ref. No call there. Dede working on his guys. Over to Rika Schulte on the left. Roa Core signaling. Rika Schulte working on his man. Makes a short two, and he misses. Rebound VCU. 2 minutes left in this game.
Another thing that's an issue right now is Fordham cannot show press because of how many guys are in foul trouble right now, so you cannot risk the easy fouls down court, so you can't force that.
Loud defense chance. Louis Lesmond on Terrence Hill Jr. He drives past to Djokovic. He's going to be forced to pass. No, he doesn't. He passes out now. Terrence Hill Jr. pump fakes, takes the three. Just off. But a rebound there, but then a whistle.
Seems like a foul on the floor on Rika Schulte.
Akira Jacobs.
Excuse me. That is another big call. Akira Jacobs up to his
first
foul here, but yet again, 2 shots for VCU at the line. 3 shots at the line. We asked Coach about this earlier. How do you defend without fouling? Because this VCU team gets to the line so often. And almost all of their points in the second half have been at the line because they have not been able to hit those key free throw shots. Hit those key field shots, excuse me.
Fordham extremely lucky that VCU has been missing as many free throws as they have. They're normally around 80%. Today they're 70%, and that's 2 missed free throws in a row. The fans are ecstatic. There's free Chick-fil-A in the house. 60-55 remains the score in this battle of the Rams. Dede driving, his lay, good! Through the arms of 3 defenders, and he gets his lay. Timeout called.
Dede Reeves, the Syracuse touch off the top of the board, down and in on the lay with 2 larger defenders over him. That is such an impressive play by Dede Reeves to cut this into single digits yet again. Fordham down 3 with 1 minute and 24 to go. Need to have a clean defensive possession right now against this VCU team and then come back and try. Listen, the 3 ball might not be falling right now for Fordham. Quick 2s can always work too, Derek. Try to get that quick 2 down the court. Fordham has hit more 3-point shots. 4 of 17. All of those shots have come in the second half. So Fordham right now with the crowd behind them, the energy, who's to say that they can't come back here? Halfway there, as we hear the song playing right now, Living on a Prayer. Fordham needs to live on this prayer for a minute, 24 more seconds, and hope that their offense can follow along.
Day Reeves, 19 points in this game, leads everyone on the court. 6 foot, these guys defending him a foot taller than he is, able to put layups over them with ease. A minute 15 as Jennings controls his offense for VCU. Louis Lesmond on him, Hill Jr., excuse me, now on the right wing. Day guarding him. He's forced back, Jokovic. He's driving right wing, back to Terrence Hill. He's got 2 men on him, forced to go in to Ward, and Bell with the slam off the Ward miss.
It's a big play right there, plus a foul and one. That's on Bodija, his 4th foul. Another guy in foul trouble for Fordham with only 53 seconds to go. That is a energy killer if I've ever seen one, Derek.
I haven't seen the play go up. The shot clock did expire when the shot went up from Ward, and I'm not sure if the shot clock would have expired. They're checking when the shot clock expired to see if this dunk will count.
I think that is a huge swing of things if the referees say that it is not good and that the shot clock expired before the ball went down, because if that's the swing that we see in this game, there will still probably be 2 free throws for Fordham, but not allowing that for VCU, but not allowing that and one to go through and a 3-point play is still pretty huge.
This would keep this with a 1-possession game. The call comes through.
It looks like the referee is holding up 2, so it seems like the basket is not going to count.
But the foul still does?
I'm pretty sure that's what it seems like. We'll see what happens here. The referee not coming over to talk to us about it, telling the TV guys over there. We're going to get a word from the referee here about what just happened.
We got a foul before the shot clock goes off, okay?
Yes, sir.
Foul before the shot clock. So we will get 2 shots for VCU. Ward will get his 2 free throws here.
Just to note, Abbas Bodija in foul trouble has left the game, as that's a missed free throw from Ward, but Christian Henry with 4 fouls as well will be in this game. Rora Kaur with 4 fouls entered this game, replacing Louis Lesmond.
Ward, a 61% free throw shooter, did not take one last game.
He makes that one, making this a 4-point game, 61-57. We're down within a minute. 50 seconds on the shot clock. Christian Henry over to Day. Now going up to the middle of the court. Fordham has to work fast. It's a 2-possession game. Day working on Bell. Over to Christian Henry. He's now driving. Back to Day. 10 seconds on this shot clock. Day Reeves, there's a foul. That'll be a free throw for Day Reeves as Fordham is in the bonus.
That is a bailout for Fordham. You would rather a shot here, but Day Reeves is going to the line to take some shots. But if you're Fordham, you don't want to be bailed out on the line there. You needed to start your offense 30 seconds with 30 seconds to go on the shot clock. If you don't get the press here for VCU, you're going to be forced to foul.
And about half the guys on the court for Fordham in foul trouble. But Day with his free throw makes it.
So we should be able to see Day getting a second free throw here. So it was on the shot, but we will see now what Fordham shows. Are they going to show press, or is it an intentional miss by Day to try to get more points on the board?
It's 20 points for Day on the day. As he makes the free throw there. Immediate timeout by Fordham to make some substitutions.
It's only a 2-point game, Derek, so Fordham needs to get a reversal here on VCU, not allow them to get any easy opportunities at the basket or easy fouls. As Fordham shows trap.
VCU trying to make their way to the other side of the court. They're able to, surrounded as that ball's knocked away, but a foul! Day and Christian Henry surrounded Nowell, and Day was able to get behind and knock the ball away. A timeout has now been called.
That was a timeout before. It was a timeout, Derek. I don't believe a foul was on the call. That was a timeout by VCU. It seemed why Fordham was upset there. Great heads-up play right there for VCU, getting cross-court and calling the timeout there. Phil Martelli for VCU, the first-year head coach, calling that timeout. A great heads-up play as he sees his players getting trapped by the Fordham defense. But right there, that's why Fordham was so upset, because they almost got the ball back. They poked it away, and Fordham thought that they might have poked it away in time before that timeout was called.
But they weren't able to, and it'll remain VCU ball. It is 61 points for the VCU Rams, 59 for the Fordham Rams. Fordham was down by as many as 15 in this first half, coming out extremely slowly, but they've clawed their way all the way back and are now down only 2 with 24 seconds left here in the Bronx. 2 winning streaks are on the table in this game. 5 for VCU, 2 for Fordham. Jennings will have the inbound for VCU. On the other side of the court from us, on the right side of the court, about halfway. They pass behind half court to Nowell, who just tries to get to anyone. He's getting surrounded by people. Djokovic now gets the ball. He's got clear space, and Louis Lesmon's able to protect against the shot, but a foul is on Djokovic.
That's Louis Lesmon's first foul, so he's the only guy on the court really that could afford that foul shot there, afford that foul there.
Rorakor and Christian Henry both in foul trouble. Akira Jacobs could do one.
Half of Djokovic's points tonight coming from the free throw line. Right now the game is at a 3-point game here, Derek. Need Djokovic to miss. You need the Fordham swim team here under the basket to cause a distraction. Fordham ices it. Ices the kicker, like in football.
I really hope Djokovic doesn't try and kick the free throw, but you're right. 8 free throws for Djokovic, 16 points for him as he leads his squad. But we talked about this at the beginning of the game, how important free throws were or are to this VCU offense. They have 16 of their 62, which normally they would have more. They're only shooting 67% from the free throw line. 16 for 24 is, while not abysmal free throw percentage, is not great and below their average. They're normally shooting around 75%. While Fordham on the other side have 11 points off of free throws, they're shooting well above their average, 79%, while they typically average 70%. But this game may come down to the free throws, and Djokovic, if you're Fordham, you really, really love the swim team at this moment, or you might, depending on how this free throw goes.
If you're Fordham, you need that 6th man to kick in right now on the court. You need this crowd to be loud. The VCU team, the VCU contingent that is in this gym tonight was loud in the beginning, but they've really quieted down, Derek, because they're nervous that a Fordham team that hasn't beaten them in some number of years and has only beaten them once, and every time that Fordham has matched up with them, it might be an embarrassing loss for a team that is one of the top squads in the A10. Yet again, it's not over yet, but VCU is trying to ice it out here, trying to go up 4 points.
VCU 15-1 against Fordham in the history of both programs. A 9-game winning streak against the Bronx natives. Djokovic, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 8 for 11 on the free throw line. Will take his 12th free throw, and he nails it. So this is now a 4-point game, 63-59. Only 14.9 seconds left for the Fordham Rams. Christian Henry trying to get an inbound to anyone. And there's a whistle, as I believe VCU tried to call a timeout, or they're arguing for a call. Barry Evans wants a replay.
Right now the referees are talking things over. Seems like they tried to call a timeout. They're gonna So Fordham foul is actually what the call is on the floor.
The referees discussing, as both teams will discuss once more with their coaches, that it's somewhat of a timeout.
I think this is all around pretty confusing, Derek, because we're not really sure what we saw on the court. Fordham called a timeout without a timeout, so that is a technical foul on the Fordham Rams, and that will lead to one shot for VCU.
A costly mistake from the Fordham coaching staff, attempting to take a timeout without having one.
That wind in your sails right there. And credit to VCU right there, getting Christian Henry. Christian Henry not able to inbound just because of how good the defense was on him trying to inbound the ball.
Terrence Hill Jr. taking the free throw from the technical foul, and he misses it.
What a break. That is a big break for Fordham. Terrence Hill Jr. not getting that free throw shot to get knocked down. Fordham still within 4.
An 89% free throw shooter Hill Jr. is. You got to miss some eventually. Christian Henry once again with the inbound. He doesn't get it to anyone. Attempted to get it to Day Reeves, but it goes out of bounds. He had Rorick Hoare wide open to his right, but did not see him, and still attempted it to get to Day.
I think that's the big issue here, Darren. Fordham right now trying to close out this high-stakes game and rushing it. Christian Henry had the ability there to get the ball into Rorick Hoare, who's wide open as Day Reeves is getting doubled. Christian Henry felt he had to get it to Day Reeves because of how good of a prolific scorer he is, as Louis Lesmond fouls Noel, and that's 2 more shots.
Fordham forced a foul as there's only 11.4 seconds left in this game.
And excuse me, that is on Day Reeves.
Day Reeves with the foul. That's 2 more shots for Noel as he misses the first one. Fordham is extremely lucky to be in the position that they are at the moment. 63% free throw shooting from the VCU Rams today is not nearly what they are used to, as they miss the second one as well. Akira Jacobs with a rebound. Day driving down, takes a 3. It's off. It's bounced around. VCU grabs it, and time expires. Day Reeves not able to pull up with the clutch 3 to cut the lead to 1. And Fordham, after being down as much as 15, claws their way back into this game, in this battle of the Rams, but is not able to climb the mountain, and they fall 63-59.
That is grit, Derek, if I have to say so myself. I think that what happened here today, while it is disappointing what we saw, it's disappointing that we saw the Fordham Rams fall to VCU, the fight that we saw from Fordham today is something that is not usual that we saw last year from a Fordham Rams team. This team really showing a lot of fight. The issue was foul on later in the game, came on a lot, giving VCU those extra opportunities at the free throw line, getting out rebounded by 8 from VCU as well, losing out as well from Fordham. But yet again, Fordham with a great opportunity here and a great job by the Fordham Rams.
Fordham not able to come out to a strong start like we were talking to with Coach Mac Magpio. We talked to him earlier before the game. They wanted to come to a strong start, but they really weren't able to. And they were able to claw their way almost all the way back in that second half, but putting themselves in a deficit and trying to claw out of it has been something routine for this Fordham team, and they just weren't able to do it. The defense stepped up. A VCU team that averages 84 points is held to 63. Typically, Fordham holds teams down 8 below their averages, but 21 below an average for this VCU offense that's high-powered and fast is wonderful for this Fordham defense.
That's the effort I'm talking about. Fordham this year, eight of their 9 opponents that they've played in the conference so far, they've held under their averages so far in today's game. And that is something that is so big for the Fordham Rams, is you need to hold your opponents because of their defense that they're relying on. It's so important. And yet again, the other person that was so important to this Fordham team, Akira Jacobs, at the end of the day, ending with a major 9 points, starting out the quarter with not many, only about, I think he had 0 starting out in the second half of play. He accounts for 42% of Fordham's made 3-point shots. You would have liked to see him take a few more of those threes if you are the Fordham Rams. But at the end of hit a few more of those threes if you're the Fordham Rams. But at the end of the day, this VCU team is tough. It's one of the toughest opponents that you're going to see down the stretch. You will play them again at home, but now both of you have seen how you play each other. So it's going to be a difference in how you're going to play each other later on.
Fordham had a lot of time. They have a lot of advantages. They outshot, just in general, the VCU Rams by 18. They had plenty of turnovers, 15 from VCU. And Fordham just not able to take advantage of the situation and the chances they were given. So many different chances Fordham was given to come back in this game and just not be down 15 in that first half and take advantage earlier in the half. About 10 minutes into the second half was when Fordham really was able to lock in on their offense a little more and cut this deficit.
The issue is playing from behind with a team that is such a contender in the A-10 and has been so good over the last 3 years. Yes, a first-year head coach, Fordham also with a first-year head coach this year, but you could see the grit that is supplied by Coach Mike Pio's squad. This VCU team has won the A-10 2 out of the last 3 years. Such a poised team to be so good, and that's the biggest thing for Fordham, is that playing from behind isn't always going to work at the end of the day. It's always going to be quite tough to play from behind with a team that has contention in the NCAA tournament, contention in the A-10 tournament every year. So that's going to be something that you need to figure out.
And with that, that'll do it for us here at the Rose Hill Gym, as the Fordham Rams do fall in the Battle of the Rams to VCU by a score of 63-59. Kurt Sippel to my right has been doing our color commentary, and Izzy Rondazzo to my left. She was beat reporting but also joined the studio for the halftime report. And with that, Fordham's next game is versus St. Bonaventure here in the Rose Hill Gym again. It's a whiteout game at 2 p.m. on Saturday, so be here to support the Fordham Rams. With that, I, Derek Beaulieu, will send it back to the Rose Hill studio for the post-game report with Travis Hayden and Gabby Price. Take it home, guys.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome back into the Rose Hill Studios. The final score in this down-to-the-wire Battle of the Rams tonight was 63-59. The VCU Rams win their 6th straight, while the Fordham Rams move to 3-7 in the A-10. I'm Gabby Price, joined by Travis Hayden, of course. Travis, what a game. You said it. We talked about at halftime a lack of Fordham energy throughout the first half, and this half it was a completely different story, if I can say that. We heard Derek and Kurt talk about the swim team various times throughout the broadcast, getting everyone hyped. Dejar Reeves hit Fordham's first 3 of the night, which sounded electric. Players were diving all over the floor. Fordham was hustling for those extra possessions to get within 3 at one point. And, you know, we did say that Fordham is a better second half team, and we saw that. Derek just said, you know, it kind of took them a little bit in the second half, but they got there and they were able to make this an exciting down to the wire game. But ultimately, it wasn't really enough to get this one done tonight.
It was not enough, but man, that was an electric second half compared to a first half. VCU led by 16 at one point, and it ended up being a 4-point game. It came down to a couple free throws. It came down to the last minute. This was one of those games where it was just too much to come back from too early, is what I would say. When when you're coming back down by 16, it's always going to be tough to try and get that in, especially at the A-10 level in college. But, man, Fordham finds a way to just fight back in almost every game. You don't see them just give up and die.
Yeah, no, you never see them. They're a very scrappy team, and I think when it comes down to, you're down by 16, you have to rely on some of that hustle energy, that scrappy energy to get yourself back into these games, which they did tonight. They found that. They found ways to be diving all over the floor and force turnovers. They forced VCU to have more turnovers than they did themselves. So I think that's a positive that you take away, and then you have to capitalize off those turnovers, of course, which they did most of the time. But I feel like for them, the story of this game for Fordham, that you need to have composure when it comes down to the wire, right? You can fight back halfway through the second half to reduce a 15-point lead down to 3, down to 4. But in the last 2.5 minutes of the game, less than that, honestly, the last minute of the game itself was 2.5 minutes. Don't make silly timeouts. Your coaching staff don't,
we're icing.
Remember how many timeouts that you have. You don't need to be giving those extra points. And I mean, Terrence Hill Jr. didn't even make that free throw, but it's kind of the principle of it, right?
Like icing the.
You need to have composure when it comes down to these.
You can't call a timeout right before he's about to do the free. You got to save it for after in case he granted because if he does make it, the game is not the same. Like you're not going to win the game. It will be a 4-point game, but you got to be a little more situationally aware in that scenario, as you're saying, Gabby.
Yeah. So in that regard, room for improvement, but I think overall you have to say pretty positive things about this Fordham team.
Yeah, who I want to give my spotlight to and this platform to today, Day Reeves. I mean, it was all effort from him today. 4 steals, 21 points. He was the leading scorer for the Rams. Early on in the game, he had this amazing steal and fast break to get Fordham on the board. It seems like he was doing that all day, picking where you talked about the turnover margin. The reason why VCU had so many turnovers was because of Day Reeves.
And that's a storyline that we've been seeing all season. Day Reeves seeing one, if not the go-to person for Fordham, for the Fordham Rams. So to see him kind of turn it around in the second half was huge and an instrumental reason to why the Fordham Rams were able to club their way back into this one. I think if I had to bring up someone too, it would be Ruarcore. I know he's younger, but he made the first he made the first 3-pointer of the day. Made another one too, so starting to get the ball rolling in the second half on the 3-point shots, which ultimately helped a ton.
By the way,
especially after first half where you went 0 for 8.
4 for 10. It's not the number you want to see, but way better than 0 for 8. Again, that is still putting 12 points up on the board right there. Much better half from the 3, and then as we said earlier, the question I proposed to you and Izzy. Before we came back, is do you take your foot off the gas on the 3-pointers, or do you shoot, or like they shot more than they did it? They shot more, and it almost got them back in the game.
And that's why that question is so hard, Travis, because I do think it's really interesting to consider, right? You go a whole half without making any threes, and then you make 4 the next half, which you want to see that number be up a little bit higher, but a couple of those threes, not only are they momentum shifters, which I think you heard both in the crowd when we're listening to the broadcast, but also in the court, I think it led the team to it got them into it a little bit more, let alone, a 3-pointer versus a 2-point shot, just score-wise. So I think my final answer to that question is that you can't completely get rid of it, but I think there are ways for you to make it easier for yourself.
So when I was asking you that question, I kind of, because we're got a little crunch time sometimes, and we got to get going, and Izzy can't hear because she's at the thing. But the way it was like, it was either, and what you said earlier is go back to the paint, go there, go get your points in the paint where you're good at. But I'm thinking, you got to cut those down. You got to cut the 16-point lead down somehow. It was 13 going into there. The largest lead was in the second half at 16. If you think about it, like that one extra point just makes so much of a difference each time. And again, I feel like the increase in the makes of threes is what really led Fordham to start to have success in the second half, even though it was just a little too much too late.
Yeah, and I think, I kind of opened this up being like, Fordham, we said at halftime Fordham didn't have a lot of energy. This half, again, was completely different, and I think it's because some of those bigger three-point plays, some of those bigger, hustle plays, that having the momentum both from, the people in the gym with you and also as a team, that you're able to put together these possessions and get points makes a difference completely. So, again, not the result that Fordham wanted, but I think they should be somewhat satisfied with the way they were able to turn it around. And I think if you're a Fordham fan, you should be satisfied with the fact that this team is never satisfied, that you can be down 16 and scrapping your way back into this
It
one.
will still be a game. Like, these are always going to be entertaining, close games, win or lose. The one thing on the stat sheet right now that's really popping out to me is where Fordham was losing in was the rebound margin, which is surprising. Which is something that normally doesn't happen. But guess what? Just like in every other game, they had 13 offensive rebounds, and they led the offensive rebound margin. That's something on Rikus Schulte. Just it's been incredible to watch all year. And but there was too many. VCU was too much on the boards as a team consistently. They had 2 players with 8. They had multiple players with 4 and 6. But when everybody on a team is rebounding lights out like that, where maybe only one guy is on Fordham, it can be a little too much to overcome, because man, VCU were playing lights out on the boards.
And I think a lot of that also have to contribute to the pace at which they play, right? I mean, the first half, Fordham really had no response to being able to stop this VCU team who is playing up and down the court. I mean, Kurt and Derek on the call were like, we're out of breath. We can't even imagine what the people on the court do. So, again, I think, with Fordham being able to find a response to that eventually was a good thing. But maybe you're right that it needs to come a little bit sooner.
Yeah, no, it definitely needs to come a little bit sooner. We need to play complete games, and at the end of the day, just complete games. Let's get started off to a first half pretty well, and let's just, what is it, 11? We're 11-10 now. Let's just finish out the year strong. We got a couple matchups coming up against LaSalle and I can't remember what's the other team we're playing, but I know we have LaSalle on there, and I think St. Bonaventure, right? We're playing them this week. Let's just go back and get these A10 wins. Let's boost the record a little bit, and let's just finish out this year.
Time for a reset. Time to move on.
Let's finish out the year strong. You took the number 3 A10 team to a 4-point game and almost had a 16-point comeback. That's the word. That's the best you can say.
It's good to build on, but with that, we will wrap up tonight's show. Fordham is now 1-16 against VCU. They will try and improve that later this month when they go down to Virginia. But once again, the final score from the Rose Hill Gym was 63-95. The VCU Rams win this one. On the call tonight, we heard Derek Beaulieu and Kurt Sippel. Behind the glass, we had Colin Banks as our video producer, Sam Jean Grande as our radio producer, and Bobby Chaffardini, WFUV sports director. For Travis Hayden, our updates guy, and my co-host tonight, I've been Gabby Price. Fordham men's basketball is a WFUV sports production.